Hello there, hello there, hello there, everybody. How are we all? Are we well? I'm well. Much love to you. Fuck yes. Thank you, the Chaos Druid. 3 months of membership on the YouTubes. Much love to you, my friend. Yes. What a day it's been, chap. Just when you think Britain couldn't get more absurd and stupid, it manages it very nicely. I've added a couple of things to the soundboard. I won't pre-do it because I'll definitely be using those during the course of tonight's proceedings. Yes. How are we getting on? Hello, Katie. Katie, I don't know if you saw from yesterday, but I did wear the Celtic shirt for a bit, but it was too tight because I'm a fat old man now, and that shirt was from like 20 fucking years ago. Fuck's sake. I think I'm thinking about getting a haircut. I think, like literally just going zzz, get rid of it all. Fuck off, we are. Jesus Christ. Right. So, how are we all? Are the Israeli police anti-Semitic now? Yes, they are. Yeah. They're Hamas. 100%. I wonder if Keith fancies sitting in the Maccabee stands if it gets overturned. Well, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. YouTube gave me the notification 8 minutes late. Well, thank you, YouTube. You are fucking useless. You are literally useless. What is the point of your existence? Please fuck off. Keep your hair, you'll miss it when you go bald. I don't think I will, in all honesty. Hair's just annoying. Look, as you can tell from in terms of like my personal appearance, I don't put that much fucking effort in. Mainly because the kind of people I'm interested in fucking don't seem to care that I don't put any effort in. Like, as long as you're clean, I can laugh a girl and / or boy's pants off. So it doesn't... There's no, like... It's like evolution, right? There's no evolutionary pressure on me to have to give a fuck. So I just don't. And so hair is... I mean, I don't do anything with it now. I've got it, so I wouldn't give a fuck if it went, in all honesty. I don't give a shit. Hello, Chloe Guzman. Or is it Guzman? I've heard it pronounced that way. But I don't know. Depends where you're from, I suppose. Bald has its advantages. No bedhead, hair, nut face when it's windy, and save money on barbers. True. Although I cut my own hair, so I don't really spend any money on barbers anyway. I haven't been to a barber's in fucking years, since like pre-pandemic days. Which is mad to think, isn't it? That was like over 5 years ago now. That happened, like, the pandemic happened last week. And you can't convince me otherwise. It did. Fucking mad shit.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
True. Keir Starmer uses A4 to wipe his eyes. No, I think he uses all of those Tony Blair Institute dollars. To paraphrase Colin Mockery about being bald, if a solar panel... It's a solar panel for a sex machine. Nice. Although talking about... Tomorrow is important. What's happening tomorrow? What's happening tomorrow that makes it so important? But talking of machines, chat, you know how they're trying to, like, I mean, essentially get technology to replace everybody. One thing I did not expect was the fact that they're going to replace the fucking cheese rolling people with a fucking robot. Look, the Gloucester cheese rollers are fucked. Honestly, it's sad to see another great British industry destroyed by mechanisation. F's in chat. F's in chat. That's barely an incline. Well, yeah, but I mean, look, the technology will advance. Okay, I've said this before. Exactly, what would a robot do with a wheel of cheese? It doesn't even make sense. There are some things for people and some things for robots. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Cheeseoid hates self. Why Cheeseoid exist? Greetings from Pacifica, California. Hey, hello, welcome to Mayor Chance. Lovely to have you in, all the way from California. Peep's bot will bury it in the garden. Okay, that's a fucking great historical joke. If you don't know about Samuel Pepys and cheese, the fuck are you doing with your life? You should know about it. It's the only thing you should know. At all. Have I got an exciting show for you, chap? We're going to watch an urgent question debate from the United Kingdom Parliament. Yeah, it is as exciting as that. But it's about a serious topic, so yeah, stick with me. Yeah, we'll have some... I don't know if fun is the right word, because it literally gave me several aneurysms watching it earlier, so... We'll see. Anyway, yes, and then if someone wants to suggest a fun video to sort of respond to, I want to say fun. I don't even mean it's like, it doesn't have to be fun as in funny, just something that I can react to in a funny way, if that makes sense. So like some of the best stuff is like weird fashoid videos that I can scream at. That's always a bit of fun. Or like a slop debate or whatever. Kev, would you like an ancient Greece short to lift spirits? Why not? Go for it, I guess. What is Peops cheese? Oliver, can I ask, are you American? Oliver, I do need to know, because that was probably the most American way of asking that question ever. Peops, or just Pepys, spelled P-E-P-Y-S, it refers to Samuel Pepys, who was a famous diarist, although that's why he's famous now. At the time he was a naval administrator. You're from Surrey? Good God. Well, you should know then. I'm sorry the British establishment or education system let you down. Disgraceful. Anyway, Samuel Pepys. He was actually a very important man in history, although no one seems to remember him for the important thing he did, which was he was a naval administrator, and he worked out to the halfpenny how much it would take to build a navy that Britain would need to run the world. And he did. And they basically followed his blueprint for the next 200 plus years. And built one of the great navies that's ever been, and all the rest of it, right? Anyway, the point being, he's famous for a diary, specifically because it's one of the great primary sources we have for the Great Fire of London, because he was alive around that time, around 1666 when it happened. And he lived in London, because that's where the head of the Navy Board, or the, the Naval Academy place thing is, at the Thames there. Still there, actually. Lovely, beautiful old building on the riverfront. Anyway, the Admiralty is the word I was looking for. Anyway, and he famously hid cheese. In the diary, he describes how he had some phenomenally expensive cheese imported from Italy, worth today many, many thousands of pounds, I would imagine. And so he wrapped it in linen cloth and buried it in his garden to protect it from the fire. Now, luckily, his house wasn't burned down. He didn't get that far, but that was the prized possession that he decided to save in case the fire did reach when he evacuated. You know. So anyway, the joke being that Peepsbot would hide the cheese. Jokes are always way better when you have to explain major historic events to people. And the joke. Yay. Oh, it's the ABBA fan thing. Yeah. Fucking awful event, that, yeah. I'll probably deal with that tomorrow then, I think. If you don't already know about ABBA fan, look into it, but it's grim, but, yeah. Well, they're talking of grim Welsh things. Jesus Christ. There is the Caerphilly by-election happening as we speak. You heard it here first, peeps, thanks. A guy I'd always liked before, even though he's a bit of a knobhead, but I liked his kind of swagger. He's a professional darts player called Gerwyn Price, former world champion, no less. And he is backing the Reform Party. What a fucking embarrassment to Wales. I would say don't have heroes, but he wasn't a hero. Don't have people you kind of like that you would find it blackpilling if they became a fascist. Yeah, that. Fucking wanker. So now I have to hope he loses every time I fucking watch the darts now. And I don't like that. Grim. Anyway, if you enjoy my content, and why would you not? It's fucking perfect. You can hit the follow button. You can subscribe. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can give subs to the community. You can do bits messages. You can do super chats via the Streamlabs link below. Text-to-speeches are available and all of that shit. You can help me out on Patreon and PayPal. I've got a Discord. I've got Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. If you're on YouTube, what the fuck is up, YouTubes? You can subscribe for nothing. You can thumb the video up. You can get 8-minute late fucking notifications by hitting the bell icon. Thanks, YouTube. You can become a member for 99p. You can gift memberships at that exact same price. And you can do super chats. Now, with added voices, it's all text-to-speech there now. Yeah. Speaking of Caerphilly, the Tories are on 4%. That is funny. If the Tories lose their fucking their deposit in Caerphilly, that would be very, very funny. Honestly, that would be so hilarious. Like, because I've predicted for a long time that they're.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
No, the Tories are always shit.
Give Kevin the monies.
True. Thank you, Wayward Historian. Much love to you. What was I going to say? Yeah, I've predicted their death for a long time, so it's always nice being sort of vindicated. You know, pretty much straight away. Always nice. Talking about being vindicated, that leads us on to the next topic, the thing we're actually going to watch, which will take up quite a lot of the show. Chatty chat. We have talked, have we not, about a story that has really, really grabbed my attention, in all honesty. That being the story of Maccabi Haifa. Not Maccabi Haifa, that is a different team from Israel. Maccabi Tel Aviv, who are an Israeli professional football team, who play in the Europa League as well, because they qualified for said competition through last year's domestic Israeli football championship. Now, I've said before that UEFA and FIFA should have kicked all of the Israeli teams out, in the same way that they did with Russia and its national team from international tournaments and Russian teams from the European tournaments. But in lieu of that, what you've had is a very weird situation where Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, who are notoriously racist, very, very racist, enthusiastic about raping the women of their rivals, Hapoel Tel Aviv, which is fun, talk about hanging fans of Hapoel Tel Aviv. Interestingly, given how much they like to accuse other people of doing blood libel, they also say in that song that they will drink their blood, which is kind of like the blood libel thing, but you're doing it against yourselves, because you're the one saying you want to drink their blood. You mad cunts. Anyway, they're also incredibly violent. And they're due to play Aston Villa Football Club, a club I hold in nothing but pure disdain as a cross-city rival. But who have been thrust into this situation totally against their will. Much as the international teams that have to play Israel, they don't want to get kicked out of the tournament, so they're going to have to play against Maccabi Tel Aviv in Birmingham, my own home city, at the beginning of November. A little over 2 weeks from this very date, indeed. An awful situation. Now, Maccabi Tel Aviv have a long history of violence and racism and just generally being cunts in various parts of the globe. So you would think the government wouldn't want them to come here. But the exact opposite is true, because our government is literally, like, owned. We're literally owned, apparently, by the Israel lobby, which is really not great. Really not great at all. Because even though 42% of the population agree with the banning of away fans from Tel Aviv at the game, about 2% of our politicians and journalists do. Or should I say, 2% of them up until yesterday, because it was the Tel Aviv derby yesterday, where Maccabi Tel Aviv and Hapoel Tel Aviv were due to play. Except they literally couldn't even remain non-violent enough to allow the British establishment to stitch this up for them. And it got so violent that the police had to move in and the game was fucking cancelled. Such violent lunatics are they. They couldn't even wait until after the weekend. Which has made the job of the Israeli stenographers, that we otherwise call elected representatives of the people, to do their stitch-up job on behalf of these people. Because, yes, the government want these motherfuckers to arrive. They're still technically banned as we currently speak, but the government are moving hell and high water to try and make sure that ban gets overturned. Even though technically it's supposed to be an independent police thing, it's nothing to do with the government. But again, we are owned and operated as a subsidiary of Israel. Yippee. Hello there, Turn Left Raiderinos. Everyone go and follow Turn Left immediately. Hopefully you had a good show. What did you talk about? If you're new here, hit the follow button, subscribe and all that shite. I'm Kevin Logan, the obnoxious fat brummy twat that occasionally appears on Turn Left. You should hit the follow button. Yippee! Anyway, I predicted over the weekend, did I not, that there would be an urgent question in Parliament about this very topic. Now, what is an urgent question? An urgent question is that a slot is made available each day for potentially new things that arrive on the political agenda to be discussed in Parliament, and for the government to have to give an statement about, and then there's a response, and then a response, and then the MPs get to ask questions, and there's responses, and so forth, to discuss things that are urgent. So in other words, it's not legislation, and it's not something that they foresaw happening. It's a question about an urgent matter. There are actually two urgent questions today. One was about the failed Chinese spy plot lawsuit case, fucking criminal case thing, which the only interesting thing to come out of that for me was the fact that the Tories, when they were in office, put pressure on two of their own MPs via back channels against two of their own MPs to stop asking questions publicly about the Confucius Institutes. Confucius Institutes, for those who don't know, are nominally cultural centres set up for the Chinese diaspora in the UK. What they actually are is places where Chinese agents spy on people, mostly people in the Chinese diaspora themselves, to make sure that they're not doing any anti-Chinese government activities. Yeah, it's essentially the extension of the secret police in China to other parts of the world. Understandably, some members of parliament didn't like that, and so they asked questions about it. And they were asked to stop asking questions about it. That feels like it should be a much bigger scandal. But again, the Chinese spy case thing is very much a Westminster story. No one really gives a fuck. No one cares, in all honesty. Anyway, the other urgent question was, bibbidi bobbidi boop, football policing. An urgent question in the House of Commons, tabled by the Shadow Cultural Secretary, Nigel Huddleston, which isn't a character from a J.G. Ballard novel, I promise you, on the decision to ban Maccabi Haifa... Fuck's sake, why do I keep saying Maccabi Haifa? Maccabi Tel Aviv football fans from their fixture against Aston Villa on Monday the 20th of October. That's today, that's not when the fixture is, that's... yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. And it's such an urgent question and such an important topic that like 50 of them turned up. Brilliant. So, I will make comment as we go along, but know this, it's fucking grim. Honestly, Parliament debases itself regularly, and rarely does it do so in a more craven and pathetic way than it did today. Embarrassing.
If colleagues can settle down quickly, we come on to the second urgent question, and I call Nigel Huddleston.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. To ask the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport if she will make a statement on the decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv FC fans from attending their fixture against Aston Villa.
Secretary of State.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Last week, Aston Villa released a statement that away fans would not be permitted to attend their game against Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Already, the very first sentence, she is shifting the blame. Now, I, as a Birmingham City fan, want nothing more than Aston Villa's eternal destruction. But I can only be fair and say this has got nothing to do with them. When she says they released a statement, as if they made the decision, they had no input to this, basically. Got nothing to do with them. This is a policing matter. So the Security Advisory Group, which is to do with the council, the local authority, and the police liaise about, intelligence, about, what, the potential problems, and then come to a decision as to whether this is a feasible thing or not as a public event. Right? It's got nothing to do with the football club. And the fact that they announced it is because they sort of have to do, tell their fans what's going on. The government were informed by West Midlands Police last week. In fact, early last week, that this was the case. So they already knew. But they want to shift the blame to literally anyone but themselves. Yay. Jewish people were outside Villa Park protesting the government trying to overturn the ban. Were they? That doesn't surprise me, but have you got Linky Dinks?
On the 6th of November. This decision was taken by Birmingham City Council on the advice of the Safety Advisory Group and based on a risk assessment by West Midlands Police. The risk assessment considered a range of factors such as the risk of protest, the threat of wider disorder, previous fixtures with Maccabi Tel Aviv fans and the impact on the wider community. It is a long-established principle set out in law that the Police and Safety Advisory Group are operationally independent of...
But they're going to do everything they can to overturn their decision, so they're actually not functionally independent. Also, what the fuck? Who is this person? Is that a Greta Thunberg cosplay that I'm looking at? I don't know who this person is. I've never seen this person before. Who are they? How dare you? Fair enough. How much Israeli money has Lisa taken? I have no idea. I mean, barrelfuls, I imagine.
Of government, and it is for them to take decisions on safety. However, this decision has far wider implications. In any situation, there is a risk that must be assessed, but in this case, the risk this event presents is in no small part down to the risk inherent in where the away fans come from and who they are.
No, it's because they are violent scum. They have been consistently violent scum. In fact, I think it only fair, chat, that alongside this particular nonsense we put on the screen... Actually, yeah, why didn't I think of this before? You know what we'll do? You know what we'll fucking do, chat? Give me just a second. Boop. We will run simultaneously this debate, quote unquote, and some, let's say, highlights. Some highlights from Maccabi Tel Aviv's recent endeavours, shall we? Let's have a shufty, shall we? Right, where are we? Window capture. There we go. Yeah, add source. Boopity boopity boop. Where are we? Boom. There we go. 1 second, everybody. Apologies. Oh, there we are. This is the occasion from about 18 months ago where they kicked fuck out of some people in Greece for looking Arab. So there we go. We'll just pop that there as well, shall we? Let's bigger it. Let's have that. There we go. Lovely stuff. Just remember, the people on the right, there are the ones being defended by the British government. Their rights are far more important than the people of Britain, clearly.
It is in that context that the solution that is proposed to exclude a group from attending is wrong. It chooses exclusion rather than looking at the full options available to manage that risk and include. And Madam Deputy Speaker, this is about who we are as a country. A lot of the public discussion around this game has focused on events in the Middle East. Let me be clear. It is perfectly legitimate to hold and express strong views about what is happening in...
Really? So you're not opposing... So you're not like imprisoning people for daring to oppose the genocide or anything? Are you sure about that one, Lise?
Israel and Gaza. People are free in this country to protest peacefully. They are free to lobby government and event organisers about which countries can participate in tournaments. And they are free to choose not to attend events or purchase products that they find unacceptable. But they are not entitled to dictate who can participate in competitions, attend a football match, or...
Right, and they're not. This is being done by the police. Now, usually I would say... Fuck the police! Fuck the police! But they're right about this.
Walk the streets for fear of threats or reprisals. Whatever your view on the events overseas, this is a fundamental principle that this government will fiercely defend. And let me be clear, this decision was not made in a vacuum. It's set against the backdrop of rising anti-Semitism here and across the world, and an attack on a synagogue in Manchester in which 2 innocent men were killed. It has a real...
I'm sorry, what's that got to do with anything? Unless you are suggesting, Lisa and Andy, that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans are indeed a proxy for all Jewish people, What has the Manchester attack got to do with anything? Here we see them, again, this was from yesterday, in the match that was abandoned in Israel, because apparently the Israeli government are anti-Semitic in a way that apparently the British government is not. Okay, that's them throwing a smoke grenade onto the pitch, and it actually hits a journalist in the head. It's crazy, that, isn't it? A Zionist attacking a journalist with a missile. It's crazy. Has that ever happened before? I don't know. Either way, turns out they might be a threat to public order and safety.
Real-world impact on a community who already feel excluded and afraid. It is therefore completely legitimate to support the independence of the police to conduct that risk assessment and to question the conclusion that follows.
Well, yeah, but you're not just questioning the conclusion. You are piling millions of pounds into trying to overturn it. Which is especially galling, by the way, as a citizen of Birmingham, to see that they have put not a penny into trying to solve the bin crisis, trying to avert the massive ballooning homeless population in Birmingham, but they are prepared to put millions of pounds in to try and make sure that the police can pretend that they're going to be able to control violent lunatics from abroad to come here and watch football. Seems like the government aren't really governing in my best interests, but in the best interests of some violent, racist Israelis. Who'da thunk it? Thank you, Solly, who says, my worry is that Starmer overall in the police is setting a precedent for the future, so Farage or whoever takes over can do whatever they want with law enforcement. Well, Solly, don't worry about that, because literally Reform are already saying it. The interjection of the two pieces of shit who from the Reform Party who spoke in this literally already said, you should overrule this. If we were in government, we would overrule this. Because again, they're Zionist scum as well. We are a nation captured. We are an institution captured.
When it excludes the people at the heart of that risk. Following the decision last week, the Government has been working with West Midlands Police and Birmingham City Council to support them to consider all the options available and to tell us what resources are needed to manage the risks to ensure fans from both teams can attend safely.
But you didn't do that with Legia Warsaw last year. Why is that?
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Bin crisis? Are there too many bins in Birmingham?
One would argue, no. Basically, we aren't having them collected very often, which has led to a burgeoning or even burgeoning rat population, a giant rat population. I think the binmen are striking over unfair pay. It's not even that, Solitaire. It's not even that. They are happy with the pay they currently get. They signed a contract with the council several years ago. And they want the council to abide by that contract. And the council have gone, no. You all have to take a massive pay cut, whilst, of course, awarding themselves significant above inflation increases in their pay, naturally, in order to make up for the massive amounts of debt that the city's in. But, heaven forbid the government do anything to actually, put money into that problem. No. What we need to do is spend millions of pounds of taxpayers' money ensuring that violent racists are allowed to attend a football match. Cool. Yeah, good night. Thanks for stopping by. Yes.
If the assessment is revised, the Safety Advisory Group will meet again to discuss options. In the last few days, I've spoken to Jewish community groups, sporting organisations, fan groups and Aston Villa Football Club to ensure we have the fullest picture possible. The Home Secretary and the Community Secretary have had extensive discussions with the police, local government and others. Ultimately, the law is clear that responsibility for this decision lies with local agencies. It is not for the government to assess the risks surrounding this football match.
But you clearly have, and have clearly said, fuck your independence, and are trying everything you can. Imagine if they put a tiny sliver of this amount of energy and money into solving any actual problems that the British people have. Because again, the day that this story broke and the government had... Oh, sorry, the day after this story broke, right? The government were holding emergency meetings in Whitehall. Emergency meetings were being held to see what they could do to overturn this decision. The same day there was announced a record high in the number of homeless children in the UK. That was announced. There was an 8% rise since Labour got into office. To a record high. There have never been more homeless children than there are in the UK right now. There were no emergency meetings about that problem, though, anywhere at Westminster. Does bring into question who they're serving, doesn't it?
But we are clear that resources will not be the determining factor in whether Maccabi Tel Aviv fans can be admitted, and that this fundamental principle that nobody in our country will be excluded from participating in public life because of who they are must be upheld.
Joe Huddleston.
Okay, well that's fine then, because this doesn't affect that then, because they're not being banned for being Jewish. You're just a liar.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Oh dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt.
I thank the right honourable lady for those comments, because I'm sure most of us in this House will believe that the decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from the upcoming Europa League game against Villa is the wrong one. It's also...
Yeah, interestingly, yeah, I'm sure a majority of Parliament do believe that. Interestingly, the opposite is true in the country. And yet you're supposedly our representatives, are you?
Embarrassing and a disgrace.
Also interesting that you've got this person... Boop! Hello there! Hello there, Priti Patel. How are you? Why are you here? You're going to mention the fact that you were sacked from the government for taking illicit meetings with Israel, and then deciding, based on those, to, against the policy of the government, misappropriate British fucking taxpayers' money and give it to the Israeli government. Not only should you have never been allowed into government again, or into the opposition again, you should have been in jail. You should still be in jail. Let alone the fact that you are taken with any degree of seriousness about this particular topic, you fucking Zionist shill.
Have we really reached the point where we cannot welcome visitors from overseas to our second city?
No, we're not. We're not at that point. That literally happens all the time. It's fine, actually. Next.
Because we cannot guarantee their safety.
No, it's because they are going to be violent, so we can't guarantee the safety of the British people. What you're doing is talking...
Shit.
British streets, in British football grounds. This is not how modern Britain should present itself to the world. And some, astoundingly including some in this House, have claimed...
Yeah, it's referred to as the second city because it's the second largest city. So it's known as the second city. He's more soundboard than man. True.
Epic dub.
It's not even culture war stuff. No, this is literally just our government and our political class have been totally subsumed into the Zionist framework. That's it. It's just them serving their Israeli masters and nothing more.
That the ban on Israeli fans is for their own safety. Safety that has been put at risk precisely because of the anger and hatred being whipped up by some of those very same people demanding a ban.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Equating football fans with terrorists, for example.
I don't know, man. They seem kind of terroristy, lad. Don't know about you, but this is them literally throwing smoke grenades at the police. There you go. That's like if throwing paint at a plane is terrorism, I'm not sure how throwing a smoke grenade, a military grade smoke grenade, at the police isn't. Because that's... We can't see shit... Oh, for fuck's sake, hang on then. I'll bigger it. There you go. So this is from yesterday. If you look at the bottom of the screen there, that's police who have to scatter because they've just had a smoke bomb thrown at them. There you go, you see it coming from the stand and they have to scatter. In many respects, that could be considered attempted murder. That hits a policeman in the head, they could die. It's at least very, very significant assault. Also, if they're such peaceful people, these small beings, these visitors from a foreign land, why are they taking smoke bombs into a football stadium anyway? Why do they need smoke bombs in a stadium? What normal person thinks, I'm going to the football today, what do I need? Okay, I need my season ticket, I need my keys for my car, my wallet. And pyrotechnics. Definitely need some pyrotechnics. And a hat, because it might get cold. Like, fucking ludicrous.
We cannot give in to this kind of rhetoric, and I hope the Minister will join me in condemning it. Football and all sport has incredible potential to bring people together. It should not be used as a deliberate tool to divide.
Anyone who says this isn't a football fan. Okay? Football is the perfect example of essentially what I like to think of as positive division. Now, what I mean by that is innate within people, and especially I think within men because of testosterone or increased levels of testosterone. Everyone has testosterone, but in cis men it is significantly more abundant. There is a certain level of tribalism, right? There's a certain level of tribalism. Now, for some people, that turns into weird, horrible, nationalistic bullshit. Right? That's negative separation. That's negative division. Because it's literally just about hating someone irrationally all the time. There's no like break on it. It's not contained. It just spreads and is just a hateful thing. Whereas football is like, yeah, actually that's a fantastic example. Yeah, it's simulated war. Rather than having my side versus your side and we're running at each other with swords or firing arrows at each other, we're watching that same dynamic play out with 22 men kicking a ball around. It's largely contained. It exists mostly during the hours of football operation. And then everyone goes back to normality. Like literally, people in this city, right? I'm a Birmingham City fan. Aston Villa are the other club in the city. Derby Day is fucking horrible. It's a febrile, nasty, demented atmosphere. It's actually a very unpleasant day. And actually, it's an unpleasant week leading up to it as well. It's horrible. I never enjoyed it. I participate in it because I can't stop myself. I'm like a fly to the fucking light, you know? The moth going towards the flame. I know it's going to burn me, but I'm not going to fucking stop because it's beautiful. Fucking awful, right? But then after that, there's you might get some drunken fights in the day, in the night, the actual night it happens. But then the next day, everyone just goes back to being normal again. People go and work in the same offices, the same factories, the same everything. You just live and work amongst each other. And you were screaming blue murder each other. Literally, the day before, you were screaming about how you wanted to fucking murder them. About how they're the scum of the earth. And then you're working in the same fucking offices 48 hours later. Because it's fine. But that's the point, is it doesn't bring people together. It separates people based literally on the colour of the shirt that somebody is wearing. It's taking that innate need within human beings. It's a thing I accept about myself. I don't celebrate it, but nor do I try and ignore it and pretend it isn't there. And using it in a contained and positive fashion. It's channeling it into a non-destructive form. But it is about separation. It's just about separation. You know what, Dan? That's actually a very good way of putting it. It's shirt racism. It's shirt racism. Yeah, I will say this now. I am outwardly and proudly a shirt racist. You can clip me on that. I am a shirt bigot of the highest order. If Aston Villa were to cease existing, I would cackle like a fucking cat. It would be amazing. I am a football shirt bigot. Yes, that is what I am. I will never not be that. But that's the thing. Once everyone takes the shirt off and they go about their lives again, it's just normal. Because hating someone for their race is fucking stupid. It's not something that's bad about a person. It's not something that one can change. Outside of some weird Michael Jackson situation. But generally speaking. Hating someone for an innate characteristic is fucking stupid and bigoted and awful and bad. Hating someone for a shirt, and then, forgetting about it the rest of the time, is actually a lot of fun. People enjoy it. It's the basis of this. And anyone who pretends otherwise doesn't know football. That's how. That's one of the galling aspects of all of this, is we're being lectured to about football as football fans by people who are not football fans. Nigel Huddleston is not a fucking football fan. He thinks football fans are scum. I fucking guarantee you. Right? I don't know about Lisa Nandy. She doesn't seem to know a lot about football at all. But I don't know whether she looks down on them. She's from a working class background, so she might be cool with it. I don't know. But either way, she doesn't know football. Keir Starmer knows football. Which makes it all the more worse that he's just doing this literally to please his paymasters. The people who own him. Just saying. It's so frustrating to see these bastards who don't give a fuck about it and look down on football fans. Look, if an English football fan so much as fucking sneezes near a foreign police officer, all of the same people are out here decrying it about how terrible it all is. And don't get me wrong, English football hooliganism is really bad. Especially on internationals, during the tournaments and stuff. English football fans are... How do I put this? There is a segment of the English national following who are scum. Fetid scum. The worst of us. And ironically, given we're being told not to tar all people with the actions of just a few, politicians do tar all football fans with the actions of those football fans. Just saying. Speaking of football hooligans, is Yaxley Lennon still in Israel? I have no idea where he is. Hopefully he's in Hades.
UK has a great and hard-won reputation for hosting major international sporting events. Banning an entire fan base sends the wrong signal and may jeopardise our ability to host such events in the future. And how disappointing is...
Why? Why would it? It didn't when they banned Legia Warsaw from the very same stadium 18 months prior. Because again, that's another thing they don't want to tell you. That's another thing they don't want to tell you. Legia Warsaw were banned from the very same stadium 18 months ago. I don't remember there being an emergency debate in Parliament about how Britain had descended into anti-Polish hatred. Because it didn't happen. Because it would have been absurd. Just as it is absurd to suggest that this is about anti-Semitism, when it isn't.
Is this decision to the residents of Birmingham, who only 3 years ago welcomed people from around the world.
Don't you fucking dare try and speak for the people of this city, you piece of trash.
To the Commonwealth Games, which showcased Birmingham and the West Midlands at its diverse, vibrant and hospitable best. We therefore call on the government to intervene and get this ban reversed. But Aston Villa and the Safety Advisory Group may only be able to do so with guarantees of additional support from the government. So can the Minister confirm what additional resources may be provided and who will pay for these additional resources? Can she confirm when the Home Office and DCMS were first made aware of the intent of the Safety Advisory Group to make this obviously controversial decision? And is she confident that they talked to all the right people before making the decision? And if the decision is reversed, what practical steps will be taken to ensure the safety of all fans and residents? And while many football teams have some undesirable supporters intent on causing trouble, let's recognise the vast majority of fans want nothing more than to enjoy a good game of football.
Really? Because this is their entire away end yesterday. What you're seeing on your screen here, that's their entire away end. They don't seem like they're there for a good game of football. They seem like they're there for a riot. Just saying.
And if we are to truly wrap our arms around the Jewish community, as the Prime Minister promised following the attack on the synagogue in Manchester, does the Minister agree we need to take action and not just spout warm words?
But what's that got to do with Maccabi Tel Aviv? Maccabi Tel Aviv are not all Jewish people. They're not British Jewish people either. They're Israeli Jewish people. So what's that got to do with taking care of British Jews? Like, surely it's bad enough to suggest that that Israel represents all Jewish people. Surely it's way worse to suggest that Hapoel Tel Aviv represent all Jewish people.
Finally, is the Minister confident that this incident will not jeopardise our ability to host major international sporting events in the future? Thank you.
Well, first of all, can I thank him for bringing this urgent question to the House? I know it's of concern to so many parliamentarians and so many people outside of this place. And can I thank him for the tone that he's adopted?
Tone! Oh, tone! Thank you for your tone! Oh, adults in the room! Oh, enjoy losing your seat, Lisa. You will have deserved it.
Watched with dismay as there have been people in this debate who've sought to use this moment to heighten tensions, and I want to commend him for the way that he's conducted himself and his part in this. He asked a particularly important question about who will pay. Across government, we are united. The Home Secretary, myself, the Chancellor, the Prime Minister and the Community Secretary are united in saying that we will find the resources that need to be made available once the West Midlands Police...
That's interesting, isn't it? Because again, not a single extra penny was put into solving the child homelessness epidemic. Not a single penny was found for that. Not a single penny could be found for heating old people's houses, or actually allowing disabled people to live with any kind of dignity. But as soon as some Israelis have been put out slightly, they've been inconvenienced in any way whatsoever, open the coffers. They can have millions. How about you spend that on fixing any of the problems here in Birmingham? Oh, I forgot. You don't represent us, do you?
Police has come forward with the risk assessment and will work with one government to make sure that those resources are forthcoming because of the important principle.
That really does look like Greta Thunberg. I'm sorry, I don't know who this person is, but she looks like Greta Thunberg, and you can't convince me otherwise. Did she sneak into Parliament without anyone noticing? Because that would be fucking dope.
Fundamental principle that is at stake about what sort of country we are. He asked if I was confident that the decision was made based on the right information. I've seen a lot of facts flying around that don't seem to have any evidential basis, particularly on social media in recent days. We're working with our international partners to make sure that West Midlands Police have the fullest range of information on which to base an assessment.
Yes, they're getting the IDF involved to look at this, and I'm sure they'll definitely be independent and find the truth.
He mentioned also the impact that this is having on the Jewish community. I absolutely feel and understand that, and I've had numerous conversations with members of the Jewish community.
No, this is annoying me now. Right, okay. How do I say this without seeming bad? I want all Jewish people to feel safe in Britain. I want to preface anything I'm about to say with that as my above all abiding concern. I want Jewish people to feel safe in Britain and to feel that they're a part of British society. As much a part of British society as anybody else. Okay? If you're a Jewish person, I want you to know that I love you. Genuinely. I'm not taking the piss here. I see you as my brethren. But I'm not entirely sure that you all feel the same way about me. Okay? Sincerity. You know, actually, yeah, fuck it. Okay, we'll go sincerity cam so everyone knows that it's legit. Yeah, where are we? Kaboom. Okay. Okay, here we go, right. Again, I'll start again then. To the Jewish community, I love you, I respect you, I want you to feel safe and secure and a part of this nation. To me, you are brothers, sisters and non-binary siblings. And I don't want any of you to feel like you have to do anything. I understand that many of you are frightened and are scared at the minute. And that's a shame. I think it's being whipped up by bad faith actors. For political reasons. I feel that you are my brethren, but I don't feel that that is necessarily reciprocated from all of you. And what I mean by that is, I know a lot of Jewish people hate the actions of the Israeli government. I know a lot of Jewish people hate people like the fans that we've been watching from Maccabi Haifa. But unfortunately, it would appear that some people in the Jewish community, given that they have given these opinions to people like Lisa Nandy and to the media, see themselves rather more as brethren to the fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv than to me. If you are that kind of person, if you see your allegiance to fellow Jewish people over non-Jewish people, or to the state of Israel over Britain or British people, if you see yourself more aligned with Maccabi Haifa fans just because they are Jewish, regardless of the actions that they have taken over peaceful, decent human beings like myself, do one. Just fucking go. Just piss off. Leave. Get out. Okay? Go and sit with the Maccabi Haifa fucking fans. Right? And sing about how much you want to rape Hapoel Tel Aviv women and kill them and drink their fucking blood and riot and be a fucking scumbag with them because you feel like they're your acolytes. If this ban upsets you and because you think it's anti-Jewish, you're full of shit. You know it's not because these people are Jewish. You can be a British Jew and go to the fucking game. If you're an Aston Villa fan who is Jewish, you can go to the fucking game. No Jews are being fucking banned. Maccabi Tel Aviv fans are being banned because of their actions. Okay? So I'm sorry, at some point you have to make that fucking assessment for yourselves. Each Jewish person individually. And I'm sorry this has been foisted upon you by the actions of the Israeli government and their proxies here in the UK. But it has been forced upon you. This is the situation we are in. Make your choice. You either stand with decency, in which case I embrace you as my brother and sister, okay? Or you can fuck off and go and sit with the fucking Nazis. That's your choice.
Community over the last few days. We have experience of policing events in this country, vast experience of policing events in difficult circumstances, and he's right to say that there are a minority of supporters in every club, and in this club in particular, whose behaviour is reprehensible. But that is...
Sorry, did I say Maccabi Haifa again? Oh, for fuck's sake. Apologies. Oh, did it a lot? Oh, did I keep saying Maccabi Haifa? Okay, you get the idea. By the way, you can have a scene transition button on the stream deck. I know, but I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. Clip him. Well, because I kept saying Maccabi Haifa instead of Maccabi Tel Aviv, presumably that means I'm anti-Semitic. It's like when Jombly Cromlins said Epstein's name a bit weird. And everyone was like, see, he's just like the Hamas. I just did an anti-Semitism. Bad Kev.
Not the case for all fans, and what is astonishing in this case is that it is unprecedented in modern times that all away fans have been banned because of the...
Unprecedented, you say? Are you sure about that? Because Legia Warsaw fans were banned from the very same stadium 18 months ago. Just before you became a minister, indeed. West Ham fans were banned from travelling to a game in Germany. Currently, literally the Italian government changed their policy about the Schengen zone, the free travel zone in Europe, to be able to ban all Germans, although they will only be banning Eintracht Frankfurt fans, from travelling into any part of Italy. Because Eintracht Frankfurt fans, because of their behaviour, have been banned from attending the game in Naples against SSC Napoli. That's happening now, as we speak. I think is that game Wednesday or Thursday or something? That's happening. Also, unprecedented. The second half of the 1980s called. It wants to have a word. Because I would argue that that's recent times. All of the people in that chamber were alive at the time that this was the case. I was for part of it too. From 1985 till 1991, 1990, 91, something like that, all English fans were banned from European competition because all of the clubs were banned from European competition because our hooliganism problem was so bad that 30-odd Juventus fans were crushed to death in an awful incident at the Heysel Stadium in Brussels at the European Cup final of 1985. That ban was not only supported by the British government, it was literally preempted by the British government. Because before UEFA had even made that decision to give that punishment to all English clubs, the British government had already said that there would be an indefinite ban on all English involvement in all European competitions. Unprecedented, you say? I would suggest that there are lots and lots and lots and lots of precedents. Another one would be Glasgow, which last time I checked was a part of the country, not England, but a part of the United Kingdom, where Glasgow Celtic fans have been banned at several points from travelling to see their team away from home at Ibrox, the home of Glasgow Rangers. And similarly, Glasgow Rangers fans have been blocked various times from travelling to see their team play away at Celtic Park, just across the city. Literally the same city. People from Glasgow couldn't travel to see their team play in Glasgow. We're not even talking international travel. We're talking one fucking bus ride. I would say that's quite precedented, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know anything about it. Didn't they start punishing the clubs with hooligan behaviour and then the club would punish the fans? Not really. I mean, often the club don't really want to do anything to the fans because the fans, like, sort of, you know, pay money to the club for tickets and stuff. So the fans would rather do literally nothing. Sorry, the club would rather do nothing, really. It's only because the authorities will, like, fine them or dock them points or ban them from competitions and stuff that they ever do anything. They would happily ignore the problem entirely if they could. And indeed they did. During the 1970s and the early 1980s, clubs basically did ignore the hooligan problem. That's why it got so fucking bad. The authorities just went, whatever. They're paying the bills.
The behaviour of a small minority. So we're working with the police to try and support them to be able to look at that in the round. He's right to say that we need action, not just warm words. I am particularly concerned, having met with Jewish fans, about the way that some of the events in the Middle East are not just having an impact on national competitions, but are also having an impact on grassroots sport as well. And it's something that I've committed to working with them on to make sure that young people in this country can turn up to local grassroots events and not feel anxious about participating. Or
also, just as an aside, for European competitions, the Israeli teams for the last 2 years have not been playing their games at home because there's been a war on. I don't know if you've heard. Been a little bit of a cheeky genocide taking place. So they've had to be playing their games at neutral venues. So does that mean that Israel is anti-Semitic for banning those games from happening? Are UEFA anti-Semitic for insisting that those games be played away from Israel? Oh yeah, well, you know, look, there are many things I like in this world. One of them is football, the other one is history. So when it comes to football history, I kind of do know my shit. A little bit. I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'm a reasonably skilled dilettante.
not being able to participate because of who they are. And finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, he asked if we he asked about the signal that this sends to others around the world. That is not lost on us. We are a tolerant, diverse nation, and Birmingham, as one of our great cities.
We are a tolerant and diverse nation. You are literally sat in the chamber with people like Nigel Farage, people like Bobby J, your old friend Robert Jenrick, who went to that very same city that you are now lauding as a wonderful, diverse and tolerant place, and said that it was a slum filled with unintegrateds. Are we a tolerant place? Because judging by those in Parliament, we are really not a tolerant fucking place. You might be talking shit, love. Just saying.
Is a great example of that. That is what we're fighting to uphold and defend. That's the Britain that we believe in. And the message from this government is that this government will always defend that country. We are a better country than some of the comments that have been made and the actions that have been taken in the last week, and we're determined to uphold that.
Graham Stringer.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. My right honourable friend will know from her discussions with the Jewish community that will be similar to the discussions I've had following the dreadful murders at the Heaton Park synagogue just over a fortnight ago, that what the Jewish community want is to be ensured by the government and local authorities and other security forces that they can live and walk about in this country in complete safety.
What fantasy world do you live in? Complete safety? There's nobody has complete safety. The fuck are you? You're a politician. You literally the other day were like, not you, the Parliament, were literally saying their condolences and all the rest of it to the family on the anniversary of the death of what's his fucking name? David Amis, the MP, who was stabbed to death. You also have Joe Cox, who was killed by a far-right fucking idiot. Stephen Timms sits in that parliament, and he was stabbed through the stomach. He survived, thankfully, and is still a part of it. I don't like his politics, but he didn't deserve to die, so, you know, he survived. So, if parliamentarians aren't safe, none of us can walk around in absolute safety. There's no such fucking thing as absolute safety. That's absurd. That's nonsense. Now, I don't want anyone being attacked because... Well, I don't want anyone being attacked full stop. But I certainly don't want people being attacked because of their ethnicity or their religious beliefs and all the rest of it. But that can't be stopped completely. That's fucking ludicrous. It's silliness. Man City fans were banned from visiting the Den because there was trouble. Exactly. As friends Rust, come on, you're a fellow football fan, right? They're desperate, these fucking people, right? Every football fan knows that they're talking shit about this being unprecedented. It's very precedented. Every single club can say, oh, we were banned from going to this game or banned from going to that game. Every club's had that. It's one of the most precedented fucking things there is. Yeah, it happens every season. Absolutely it does. Yeah. It's fucking nonsense. And at no point did anyone stand up and be like, oh, this is Preston North Endism, because you banned Preston from travelling to, I don't know, Bolton or whatever. I don't fucking know. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's up there crying and screaming because their team was banned from a thing. You just go, okay, whatever. Yeah, I get it. If shit kicks off, the police don't want it to kick off, the locals don't want it to kick off, so they get banned. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Cool. Like, it's not nice, it's not great, but people understand it and they move on with their fucking lives. But then again, there isn't a very well-funded lobby on behalf of Preston North End. There isn't a Labour Friends of Preston North End. The P in IPAC does not stand for Preston, etc. Is it IPAC or APAC or EPAC? I've never even heard of them. I don't even know what that means. I'm just a small bean. Ho ho ho.
It would be whatever the risk assessment in Birmingham was, it would be a disgrace and a shame.
Yeah, please do. Please do, as for interest. Also, always good to hear a Darren Huckabee reference. That's a lovely old name. Don't tell me Darren Mackey was playing in that game as well, was he? Macken? Yeah, anyway.
If this country could not guarantee the security of a group of Jewish fans coming from Israel walking down our streets, can she give that assurance to the House this afternoon?
The Honourable Gentleman's a great champion for his Jewish constituents, and I've met with Jewish community organisations over the last few days to give them that assurance that the government will always defend and uphold their right to participate fully in public life, and that includes being able to attend football matches. I should say in a number of the discussions that we've had with partners, they've made the point to us that many of the people who want to attend this match as Maccabi Tel Aviv fans are actually British citizens who live here in the UK.
Well, maybe they should have a word with their Israeli counterparts and tell them to cut it the fuck out. And then they wouldn't be banned. Maybe if they had a word, maybe if they spoke to their fellow Maccabi Tel Aviv fans and said, could you at least, not be violent cunts when you go abroad, so I can go to a game? Perhaps. Also, and it gets brought up later, I'll get to the specifics of it later, but in terms of it being very precedented, you know who should know how precedented this is? Maccabi Tel Aviv fans. We'll get on to it.
And that's what has, should be in all of our minds when we think about who we're excluding from being able to attend.
Spokesperson Anne Sabine.
Deputy Speaker.
But we already know who we're excluding. Violent, racist, rape enthusiasts.
The decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from attending their team's Europa League match because West Midlands Police couldn't keep the fans safe is a serious mistake and sets a dangerous precedent.
No, couldn't keep the locals safe from Maccabi fans.
We appreciate the difficulty in ensuring the safety of fans and local communities, but the Lib Dems believe this decision must be reversed and the government should work...
Yeah, but you're the Lib Dems. No one fucking cares. Fuck off.
...alongside local authorities and the police to make sure the match goes ahead with both sets of fans. The situation at Maccabi Tel Aviv's match in Israel this weekend reminds us of the importance of ensuring our police forces have the resources and support they need to keep major events safe.
That's what you got from that. So you took from the two sides rioting and having the game called off, you took that away from it. Not that Maccabi are actually a dangerous set of bastards who need to be stopped. Just, we need to give more money to the police.
Fuck the police! The UK has made significant progress in tackling football hooliganism, but the police must always be prepared for small numbers of fans who seek to cause trouble. So I asked the Minister, will she recommend bubble-like security restrictions to boost security checks and police presence around the stadium to ensure everyone's served and protected? Finally, the Home Secretary stated she didn't know about fans being banned until the night before it was announced. However, she was apparently aware as early as last week that a decision was being made. Can the Minister clarify when the Home Secretary was made aware of the potential ban? And if she knew last week, why didn't she intervene earlier?
You say in chat that they would defend Jewish Al-Qaeda if they could. And it's actually referred to as the IDF. And they do defend them, yes.
Thank you. Well, can I thank her for her questions? I'll try and address them all. In relation to the Home Secretary, I think she's given a full account of the fact that she was kept updated about these events, but that the decision wasn't communicated to us in government until, sadly, we saw the statement from Aston Villa on the recommendation of the police.
Again, it's so disgusting I have to defend a club I despise. But it's not up to the fucking club. The club have nothing to do with this. God almighty, you people are trash. Oh no! Oh no! Look at the precedent. Look how precedented this is.
Successive away games, the third of which took them to Millwall's hostile new den.
In terms of positive turning points, I would say the game at Millwall, when we had to go down there.
Kevin Keegan as manager, oh my God. Oh, I'm young and beautiful again.
Tough place to go. They were also, I think they would have leapfrogged us had they beat us, or certainly got the same points as a major result. And there's others, of course, after that, but that was probably the turning point for me.
Giatto finds Berkovic. Oh, it's a lovely ball, right Phillips and Gota. Terrific movement, great passing.
Fucking Sean Gota. Oh my word, outrageous.
City looking for the offside. There is none against Cahill. It comes back to Sadlier.
No way, Steve Claridge. Birmingham City legend Steve Claridge. Let's go.
And Millwall are level. Berkovic. Terrific running by Benabia. Well seen by Berkovic. And now Huckabee. And Manchester City are back in front. And Aaron Huckabee goes to enjoy it with the fans who would have been there had they been allowed.
Oh no! The precedent.
Huckabee goes to enjoy it with the fans who would.
Oh no! Look at all the precedent I'm seeing before me. Who let that one bloke in? Who the fuck let that one guy in? There's one bloke in the stand. Oh no, this unprecedented event which has never happened before in Britain. Oh, crazy. Fucking ludicrous. We live in such a shit fucking country.
I want to be really clear that the police have a role here that is operationally independent of government, that they have every right and responsibility to carry out, which is to assess the risk. I have no...
Okay, and they've assessed it and said, fuck you. Surely you leave it there, don't you?
Basis to believe that the police did anything other than act in good faith in trying to make that assessment. The reason that the government has intervened in this case is because we believe that it has far wider implications and it breaches the upshot of the decision is that it breaches a fundamental principle about who is entitled to participate in public life and walk our streets safely. And because of that, we have been forthcoming with all of the support and resource that West Midlands Police may need in order to ensure this game can go ahead in the manner that she...
Okay, let's take them at their word there. They want to invest to make sure that they allow Jewish people to feel that they are welcome and a part of British society. So when 18 months ago, Legia Warsaw fans were banned from the same stadium for basically the same reasons, for being, you know, violent lunatics, why did you not put any money into making sure that Polish people, or people of Polish descent, the Polish community, felt that they were accepted in British society? Is your explicit reason here now, fuck the Poles? Are you literally saying, Polish people, you are not welcome in Britain. We do not want you to feel a part of our nation. Oh no, you're just lying. No, you're just lying. Because it's got nothing to do with anti-Semitism. Yeah, obviously.
Suggest.
Lawrence Turner.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. The people charged with the protection of public safety carry a heavy burden, and not all the information that they considers has yet been laid out in the public domain. However, I have deep concerns about the principle of block banning of entire groups of opposition fans, some of whom, let us not forget, may be UK residents or nationals themselves. And
okay, well, don't support an evil fucking football club. Or watch the game at home. Those are your two choices, I suppose. Like, I'm sorry, no one else gets this treatment. Why is it? Why is it that Israelis who act in the way... Look, literally, you can see it on the screen there. This is them kicking fuck out of an Arab-looking man in Athens. Why is this hooliganism treated differently than every other person doing the hooliganism? Why is it that Dutch hooligans or Polish hooligans or British hooligans are treated so much harsher? You would never, ever, ever see hooligans from any of those other countries treated in this way, in this supportive way.
Also, some of the descriptions of Birmingham in parts of the press and other areas of our political life which are not a true account of our city. Does the Secretary of
I don't really know this guy. He was elected at the last election. I can't wait for him to lose his fucking seat as well. Northfield's literally just down the road from me. It's about 25-minute drive. 20-minute drive with no traffic. I can't wait for you to lose your seat. He might end up losing it to a Reform candidate. I don't know. That would be a shame. But you need to lose your seat, friend. Mr. Lawrence Turner, you need to lose. And you will. Where were the Athens police? I am not sure.
State agree that Birmingham remains overwhelmingly a diverse and welcoming place? And will she join me in commending the calm leadership that the council leader, John Cotton, has brought to bear by calling for a review?
No, because he's a cunt. Also, he's literally doing strike breaking. He's trying to do strike breaking all the time. John Cotton needs to lose his fucking seat too. Bunch of cunts.
Thank you. I mean, we've worked. My honourable friend, the Community Secretary, has worked very closely with Birmingham City Council, and I would like to echo his comments about the leader and commend them for the constructive way in which they've worked with us and the police and other local agencies in order to deal with this. And I would also add to that we have worked very constructively with West Midlands Police as well, with Aston Villa Football Club, and with a whole host of agencies in order to try and resolve this situation. He's right to say that it is unprecedented in recent times.
Unprecedented! Unprecedented! It's not even unprecedented in the last 2 years at the same stadium. The fuck are you talking about? Every football fan knows you're lying, Lisa. Is there no... This is the thing. Zionism is a hell of a drug, clearly. Or should I say the money that they're being paid, / the honeypotting that has occurred to them. I don't know why. It depends, I suppose, on each individual. It's a hell of a drug. Because there is no institution in the nation they will not destroy on behalf of Israel. There is no norm of British practice that they won't overturn in defence of Israel. There is no political disadvantage that they could suffer that would make them turn away from Israel. There is no seat they are not prepared to lose in defence of Israel. Honestly, find you a person as loyal to marry as our British parliamentarians are to Israel, because you will never need a divorce lawyer.
The entire group of away supporters have been entirely banned from a game, and it's something that we...
Again, we literally just showed the thing from Man City, but there are dozens of examples. Ask literally, if you go online and you meet someone who's an English football fan, ask them, whatever team they support, say, have you ever been banned from a stadium? Have your club ever been banned? And I guarantee you they'll instantly be able to tell you, yeah, we were banned from this place or that place. Yeah, 100%.
In this country do not make a habit of. We've become very skilled at policing football matches, even where there's considerable risk involved, in a way that includes everyone. And can I finally just say that those who seek to divide and exclude people in Birmingham should consider the signal that it sends to the rest of the world about one of our great and vibrant cities.
Dame Caroline Dinage.
Thank you. Very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. On Friday, the club's chief executive raised concerns about what this ban on fans was actually signalling, and the Secretary of State will be aware this is not the first time we've heard about Jewish people not feeling safe at either cultural or sporting events, whether that was the scenes at Glastonbury this year or the boycotts and protests and cancel.
Oh no, kneecaps are the thing. Actually, you know what? I will use a kneecap reference in conjunction with the rant I did earlier about Jewish people having to make a decision, right? In the song Get Your Brits Out, they sing of formerly kind of, unionist people in a united Ireland. You can all stay, just don't be cunts. And I think that sums it up perfectly. I don't care who's here, what religion you are, what football team you support. I don't like Villa, but they have a right to exist. Aston Villa has a right to defend herself, okay? Etc, etc. I don't give a fuck about any of that. You can all stay, just don't be cunts. Very straightforward.
Installations of Jewish performers at venues around the country. I'm really grateful for the Secretary of State's commitment today, but can she set out a bit more specifically what she is doing to ensure that Jewish people feel safe and welcome to participate in cultural life in the UK?
Earlier this year, I hosted a round table with Lord Mann and the Board of Deputies to...
Oh, Lord Mann, the bought and paid for shill of Israel, and the Board of Deputies, a bought and paid for shill organisation on behalf of Israel. Neither of which represent Jewish people in any way. Cool.
Discuss the role of Jewish people in the widest range of public life, particularly in relation to arts, film, TV, broadcasting and media. She is absolutely right to say that this specific
true, Gabrielle,
case
yeah,
is not occurring in a vacuum, and we are working on a strategy to make sure that Jewish people are included and that their contribution to British public life is recognised and celebrated.
Barker. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Now, you wouldn't believe it, but the plurality of British people actually agree with this ban. But yet we have heard, what, 5, 6, 7 parliamentarians all stand up in a row, all saying this is the most terrible thing in the history of the world, this is Holocaust 2.0, terrible, 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 bad, bad, bad. It's almost like they're not there to serve us, isn't it? They're certainly not there representing our interests or our opinions.
I'd like to precursor my comments by saying everybody in this place was horrified by the attack on the synagogue in Heaton Park, and my comments today are purely based on safety, because a year before the Hillsborough disaster, safety concerns at Sheffield Wednesday Stadium were raised by an official, but the ex-council safety officer was told by bosses in 1988 to keep his nose out of such concerns. Nobody in this place needs to be reminded what happened as a result of ignoring that safety advice. 97 innocent men, women and children lost their lives.
They were murdered by the police, yes. That is true. Yeah. Fact. Also, whilst that particular incident wasn't hooliganism based, although of course the British government and the Sun newspaper tried to claim it was hooligans who, urinated on corpses and stole things from people. Total lies, obviously. Hooliganism played its part that day. Because as someone pointed out in chat, who's a Chelsea Football Club fan, Ken Bates, the Chelsea owner at the time, was so concerned with this, indeed so concerned with trying to become a government minister, under Margaret Thatcher, that he not only put fences around all of the stands at the formerly unreconstructed Stamford Bridge Stadium, he wanted them electrified. But the council wouldn't let him ever turn on the electrification because, people would have died. Anyway, the point being, fences were put up. I remember them. My earliest football memories, the fences were still there. in the early 90s. Fences were put up. And it was against one of those hooly fences that 97 people were crushed to death. If it weren't for those fences, those people would have just poured out onto the pitch. There'd have been injuries, but it's very unlikely anyone would have died. Very unlikely indeed. Because they'd have just been pushed out onto the thing. And it would have been an unfortunate inconvenience to an otherwise unnotable FA Cup semi-final. But instead, the hooly fences were there and 97 people died. Were murdered by the police. Maccabi Tel Aviv have released a statement saying they won't even sell the tickets to the fans if they are provided. Oh, link me! Link me! That'd be hilarious. Oh my god. Does that mean Maccabi Tel Aviv? If that's true, okay, I'm going to hold my fire. But if that's true, that means that Keir Starmer has been outflanked to the left by Maccabi Tel Aviv. Chef's kiss. Fucking spectacular. Excellent work. Excellent work. Yeah, that is not a... What you actually linked me there was...
I can already tell this is going to be a roller coaster ride of disappointment.
Which is not at all relevant to, to the thing in question. They have mugged Starmer off, true. The reason will be Jews don't feel safe. Well, true, Jews, they probably will say Jews don't feel safe. But also, I think there's no doubt that because of yesterday's nonsense with the Tel Aviv derby, they don't want any more bad publicity of our fans are lunatics. Like, at least whilst it's contained to just being lunatics in Israel, it's not so bad. But if they... and the thing is, right, this is the thing ultimately that is worth pointing out. If they had gone there, if Maccabi Tel Aviv fans had been allowed to go there, people would have died. In fact, I still think it's possible people might get seriously injured or killed at this game, even if that doesn't happen. Because Tommy Robinson and his crew have already said they're going to turn up and do a protest. There's going to be leftists that'll do fucking protest. Obviously there'll be locals, many of whom are Muslim, some of whom are black, some of whom are white, who will want to defend their community. And the police are not going to be able to cover all of those bases. So you're going to have sporadic outbreaks of violence where the police won't get to. And it only takes one dumb cunt with a knife, or 3 or 4 of them kicking someone in the fucking head, and the cunt bleeds out. Because the tight rabbit warren of roads around that stadium are not easy for ambulances to get into. Especially when you have 40, 50,000... football fans also going through those streets at exactly the same time. It's a fucking disaster waiting to happen. Realistically, the only safe way you can do this match is in front of an empty stadium at a neutral venue. Honest to God, that's the only safe way you can now do this. You might even have to do it abroad, frankly, because it's been made into this much bigger thing. If the government had not come out and done this, if the media had not come out and kicked off about this, if they just allowed this to be a policing decision, no one would have cared that much. The right wing would have whinged about it a bit, but it's just culture war shite to them, right? They don't really give a fuck. But the government and the media decided to make an issue out of this. And so now, the least interesting thing about this football match is the football. The 90 minutes of 22 men kicking a football around are irrelevant. It's what's happening everywhere but the pitch that will be horrifically fascinating, like watching the aftermath of a car crash, but watching the actual car crash as well. The entire process of the car crash happening. I mean, literally, it's happening really slowly because it's still over 2 weeks away, this match. And yet I can see the car crash coming. I can predict the car crash happening. And there's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm trying my hardest here. I'm trying my hardest to put out the right messages and all the rest of it. But I can see it happening before my very eyes. Okay, let's see what Maccabi Tel Aviv have to say. Club statement from Maccabi Tel Aviv. Translated, so bear that in mind. Club statement. Oh, hang on, I should probably... I'll bigger it. Oh. Okie doke. Club statement. We acknowledge the efforts of the UK government and police to ensure both sets of fans can attend the match safely, and are grateful for the messages of support from across the footballing community and society at large.
You are coping and seething.
We as a club believe that football should be about bringing people together, not driving them apart.
Bullshit.
And no one should feel unsafe for simply wanting to come and support their team, nor feel any hesitation about being accompanied by family and friends. We have a strong track record in bringing people together. Oh my God almighty.
Coping so hard. Coping and seething.
We have been instrumental in bringing forward football talent from around the world, irrespective of race or creed. You literally had rioting fans because you signed 2 Arabs. You're one of the few clubs in the history of the world who've been censured by your own FA and fined by your own FA because your fans were harassing an Arab footballer, an Israeli Arab footballer. Well done. Our first team squad consists of Muslims, Christian and Jewish players, and our fan base also crosses ethnic and religious divide. That's interesting, because if that's true, then how can that possibly be that this is a racially motivated thing? Because we're not banning Jews from the stadium, we're banning Maccabi Haifa fans, who apparently cross all of the ethnic and religious divide. Curious. We've also been working tirelessly to stamp out racism with the more extreme elements of our fan base. I feel like I'm going to need this button a lot.
Bullshit.
Unfortunately, those issues are not restricted to Israeli football, and they are problems the sport has been grappling worldwide with, including in the UK. Yeah. It is clear the various entrenched groups seek to malign Maccabi Tel Aviv fans who are just lovely small beans. Most of them have no truck with racism or hooliganism of any kind, and are exploiting isolated incidents for their own social and political ends. Boom. The latest example is by people who have rushed to attribute to our fans the decision of the Tel Aviv police to cancel a derby match yesterday.
Coping so hard. Coping and seething.
It was not. It is easier to believe than to inquire, especially when it suits an agenda. Suits does not have an E in it in this instance. Our fans regularly travel all over Europe without incident. Citation needed. Because there was only one citation in Parliament today, and we'll get to it. Ian Duncan Smith, letting himself down again. That incident, and suggests that the reason our fans cannot be allowed to travel is due to their behaviour is an attempt to distort reality and to excuse the real underlying reasons for the decision to ban our fans. Our fans, the Jewish community, know all too well this tactic and are familiar where it can lead. Well, hang on. What are you talking about the Jewish community for? Because apparently your fans aren't the Jewish community. They're the Jewish, Arab and Christian communities. Apparently. So I am led to believe. Is this Maccabee Tel Aviv doing an anti-Semitism? I think it is. Thank you, Wayward Historian, for gifting a sub to Journeying Jordan, who definitely deserves it, by the way. Definitely deserves that sub.
Epic dub.
Don't forget, everyone, you can also give money in the form of bits and subs and memberships and subscriptions and all of that jazz to help support my vital work of taking down Maccabee Tel Aviv with my lies. We are also concerned about the intervention of divisive figures. Thanks for the shout out, lads. Who do not represent the values of the club. Oh no, it means different people. We condemn all abhorrent views that have no place in football. As a result of the hate-filled falsehoods, a toxic atmosphere has been created. You can thank me later. Honestly, you can thank me later, lads. Has been created, which makes the safety of our fans wishing to attend very much in doubt. Inflammatory rhetoric, trafficking half-truths, is never healthy. But in this particular case, the remarks being generated are the most concerning variety. Not for Maccabee Tel Aviv or football, but for the sake of society and its underlying values, maybe the agendas involved here should be looked at more closely. The well-being and safety of our fans is paramount, and from hard lessons learned, we have taken the decision to decline any allocation offered on behalf of away fans, and the decision should be understood in that context. I cannot believe how anti-Semitic Maccabee Tel Aviv are. Banning Jewish people from Birmingham. The British government wanted to welcome you in, and you're banning Jewish people. You anti-Semitic scum. You're just like terrorists. You're fucking evil. You see, it's not nice, is it? It's not nice when people talk shit, is it? Maybe learn that lesson, you cunts. We hope that circumstances will change, and we look forward to being able to play in Birmingham in a sporting environment in the near future. Yeah, get wrecked. W's in chat, I suppose. Fucking shithouse of a message, but W's. Massive fat dubs in chat. Keir Starmer has played a blinder yet again. Our forensic Prime Minister and his genius strategists are now to the right of the probably second most racist football club in Israel. Forensic. Absolutely forensic. Is there anything Keir Starmer can't fuck up? Can I ask that? Is there literally a single topic Keir Starmer couldn't destroy?
He's a stiff dick of poop.
Thank you, Fuzzmuz, for gifting a community sub. We're on a hype train. If we look, we're on a hype train. If we get to level 2 of the hype train, I will finger Maccabee Tel Aviv's away travelling support to the Aston Villa game, because that ticket allocation is dead. RIP's in chat. RIP's.
This is for Catherine, and it's booked by Big Chungus. I know that Bussy be so talented. It's doing cartwheels, but I don't care.
There's one for the soundboard. Fucking hell. Okie doke, right, where are we? Boom shakalaka. Yes, we're on a hype train, everyone. So if you do bits and sobs and all of that, I will finger the away ticket allocation. Aston Villa.
Return of the sausages.
I hate it when the cops are correct, broken clocks and whatnot.
Yes, thank you, Over Historian. We are now on the second level of the hype train. Much love. Anyway, Villa have said, what was it? Hang on. Aston Villa have said any club steward can opt out of working that game.
Like a baby otter.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely. Definitely. Thank you, Marcel Paul, who says, I hope this Maccabee situation doesn't last because I don't think I will find another Maccabee-related GIF. That is true. Yeah, your GIF
Stop
game
it.
is
Get some help.
your GIF game is only so strong when it comes to very niche historical references. Thank you, Carl Brown, for gifting a membership on the YouTube. Much love to you, friend. Now, given that this is a dead issue, lol, I don't need to take it quite so seriously because it's not going to happen now. Keir Starmer has been so forensic that he's been outflanked to the left by Maccabee Tel Aviv. I mean, I need to do it again. Sorry, that. Bravo. I mean, bravo. The man is a world-class, generational talent of fuck-up. There is nothing he couldn't destroy. There is no polling bad enough for him. He those are rookie numbers. He can get their polling down to 0. Fucking incredible. So I don't need to be angry about this anymore. I can just point out what a load of shit it all is. Let's go.
We have safety advisory groups for a reason, and it is a slippery slope when safety concerns are ignored, and I believe unprecedented for a government to try to overturn such advice. And I will respectfully disagree with the Secretary of State when she says that bans don't go on because we have we've had a lot of cases, both nationally and internationally, the most recent one being Napoli versus Frankfurt. So can the Secretary of State be explicitly clear? Has she seen the safety advice? If so, does she disagree with the safety advice? And if she does disagree, can she tell the House on what ground she disagrees? Because it is imperative this House is clear, because if you are successful, if the government is successful in having the decision overturned, particularly after the scenes we witnessed last night with the Israeli derby, then people are going to ask questions.
Can I thank my honourable friend, and as somebody who represents the some of the Hillsborough families, can I say to her that we as a government, and I as an individual member of that government, take the safety of all fans and the wider community with the utmost seriousness.
No, you didn't. You wanted a race riot. You tried to cause a race riot. Also, learn how to part your hair properly. That's embarrassing.
We would never treat safety
Ask your colleague behind you, who clearly can do it, for advice.
Secondary consideration. But she says that we're trying to overturn the police advice. We're doing absolutely no such thing, and I think I made that.
No, you are doing no such thing, because you've already been outflanked. Get wrecked. F's in chat. F's in chat for this entire policy. You put yourself out there and you've been fucked over. Played a blinder, Keith.
Completely clear in the statement that I just made. We are working with West Midlands Police and local partners to make sure
You ain't working
that we
with shit anymore.
take into account the risks that they have raised in order to ensure that this game can go ahead safely with both sets of fans present. And I would say to her that yes, in the discussions and the consideration that I've given to the risks that West Midlands Police have highlighted, what is completely different about this case is not just that it's the first time since the early 2000s in this country that a decision has been taken to ban entirely away fans from attending.
That's a lie. That's just blatantly a lie.
A game. It's that the risk assessment is based in no small part on the risk posed to those fans that are attending who support Maccabi Tel Aviv because they are Israeli and because they are Jewish. Now, we should be appalled by that.
Well, I am appalled that Maccabi Tel Aviv have banned Jewish fans from attending this game. Honestly, you know what? I think Maccabi Tel Aviv need to be prescribed as a terrorist organisation. They're clearly and obviously a threat to the safety and security of all Jewish people by imposing this racially motivated ban on Maccabi Tel Aviv fans. It's the only answer, chap. You will never hear me say I support Maccabi Tel Aviv because it's illegal.
And never allow it to stand.
Andrew Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Can I commend the Secretary of State for the tone and the clarity of her statement
Oh dear, I seem to have spotted a
what
cut.
she said about the police making the decision in good faith, but it is, as she has said, the wrong decision. And secondly, can I echo what she has said about it not being the sort of country we are to make that decision. It's not the sort of city Birmingham is either, where there are outstandingly good community relations.
Really, you should have a word with your colleague, your fellow Conservative MP, Robert Jenrick, who seems to think we live in an unintegrated slum.
And that is largely because of the excellent work that is done by the faith communities across the city.
Well, no, I don't actually support Maccabi Tel Aviv either, yeah, that is true. Or Maccabi Haifa. Or Hapoel Tel Aviv. Or Kiryat Shimona. Do I know any more Israeli football teams? Probably, but I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Can I echo those comments and also take this moment to pay tribute to those faith organisations? The Community Secretary and I have been really pleased to be able to work with them in anticipation of the threats of significant disorder that have been made by people outside of Birmingham who seek to travel to Birmingham to create strife. Their message is ours as well.
What did Katie Lamb say? Link me and I will look.
They are not welcome there.
Gareth Snell.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. It was reported over the weekend that in August, a legal observer to one of the protests was arrested simply for wearing a...
Beersheba as well as another one. Yeah, there's a few I know.
A Star of David because it was considered to be antagonising. Now with...
Yeah, that was also a gender right-wing fucking hate campaign. The police, like these people who bootlick the fucking police constantly, when the police come out and say, actually no, this wasn't what happened, they just ignore it because it doesn't suit the narrative. Have you condemned Aston Villa today? I condemn Aston Villa every day. Every day.
The decision to ban the Maccabi fans from coming to the UK, there is a genuine cumulative effect on what it means.
There's a cumulative effect of anti-Semitism, and I condemn Maccabi Tel Aviv for their racism towards all Jewish people.
For Jewish people in this country, and the effect that it has on those people that are family of...
And I want people to bear all of this in mind. Never, ever, ever let these fucking people, these scum in Parliament and in the press, any of these cunts who did this, all of them. I've seen some of the backtracking from them. Fucking Maguire, the supposed leftist or Labour guy, the Daily Mirror's political guy, has tried to backtrack on this. The guy from Hope Not Hate has tried to backtrack on this. If they came out and said what a terrible thing this was, before that, I mean, they'll all turn around and say, "Oh well, the club did this thing, so it's fine, whatever." They'll all pretend like they didn't fucking come out shilling for violent fucking rape enthusiasts, people who sing about drinking other people's blood. They wanted that to walk through my fucking streets. They can never, ever be allowed to forget what they did. The fucking disgrace they brought upon us all.
Jewish people in this country who watch their friends and family tortured about whether or not they have a role in this country anymore, that we should all be significantly aware of. But I also think, Madam Deputy Speaker, the challenge will be, if this ban is allowed to go ahead, the game after the Maccabi game is with the Swiss-based Young Boys. Their fans have been involved in 2 riots, including hospitalisations. If their away team is not...
Okay, but it's just a minority of their fans. What's wrong with that? They're just small beans. Why do you hate the Swiss? What is it with your Helveticism, your anti-Helveticism, that leads you to your Swiss hatred? You see how when you apply your logic to literally any other thing, it sounds fucking ludicrous, because it is. The Young Boys youth team is very confusing, true. For the lols, I always thought the Young Boys youth team should be made up of pensioners, just to really fuck with people's heads. To be fair, no, the Swiss are hoarding all of that gold. Yeah, that is true.
Ban. The question should be, what is different between the Maccabi fans and the Young Boys fans, and what is it that we want to talk about?
I think the honourable gentleman put it better than I could.
You can't.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. As the Member of Parliament for that very area...
Yeah, he's literally the MP for Aston. I don't know, it's not called Aston, the actual thing, is it? The constituency, but he's literally the MP for that area. He's the one that got up the petition that kind of sparked all of this, although not really, because it's a policing thing. And the one that everyone's been racist about. I hope he's having well, he probably doesn't drink as a Muslim, but I hope he's having whatever thing he does to relax. I hope he's having a nice glass of whatever that is.
That is set to host this match, and for the community whose public safety many members of this House wish to play...
Perry Bar, of course it's Perry Bar, yeah. A place I remember well. Perry Bar, I've got fond memories of... Well, Perry Bar, the old dog track, which isn't there anymore, and the one-stop shopping centre, which my nan used to go to. Crazy times.
Loose with.
I talked about my nan lived in Lozells. When I talked about Handsworth and the Bobby Jenrick ship.
I know the reality on the ground, and I know that there has been a deliberate, disingenuous move by many to make this a matter of banning Jews, to conflate matters of policing with those of religion. Just this morning, I saw a video of Jewish community leaders standing outside the Villa Park saying they too support the banning of this team.
Does anyone...
like a baby otter.
Does anyone have a link to that? Because that would be a cool video to look at.
We'll release that video outside of this chamber. But those who are not welcome in Aston are hooligans that have a long history of violence and vile racism.
True. True, brother. Thank you, everyone, for the hype train. Much love. I've got empty seats to finger. It would only be the third time I'd ever entered that stadium, if it were actually serious and I was going to do it. Once to attend a football match, and once to go to, and this, a genuinely fond memory of my youth. I used to do football sticker books, sticker albums, and they held one of these events, a Swapsies event type thing at Villa Park in what year would that have been? 94? 93, 94? So over 30 years ago. I'm so old. It's disgusting. Anyway, we went there and I got a shiny, I think it was Ian Walker. I think we might have been playing for Tottenham at the time. He was a goalkeeper. And he was a shiny. Oh, I got a shiny. For those who don't know, there's the regular stickers, and then they have like ones that are like sort of sparkly and silvery. I got a shiny. Which sounds a lot more sexual now I'm thinking about it. That's not how it works. Exactly, yeah. It's only 2 buses away. 2 very long bus journeys, but 2 buses from here to Aston. I very briefly worked in Aston at the old HP sauce factory for about 3 or 4 months before I went to college. Which, again, the story of industrial Britain's decline, that factory doesn't exist anymore. There's more jobs that we don't have.
Chants like F the Arabs, we will rape their daughters, that there are no schools in Gaza because there are no children left in Gaza. It's these hooligans that are not welcome. Madam Deputy Speaker, can I ask the Minister, how many millions of British taxpayers' money is her government offering to overturn the respected expert judgment of the West Midlands Police and the Safety Group?
Well,
Beautifully put. Beautiful. What a fantastic selection of beards. Honest to goodness, it's fucking beard o'clock at Villa Park. Good lord. It's an amazing beard. But for who, Chris Kamara? For all of them. For fucking all of them. Jesus Christ, look at this.
Yes, we are happy to show our solidarity with the community here. This has nothing to do with religion, nothing to do against Judaism, against Jews. This is a safety concern, a genuine safety concern against hooliganism, against the Maccabi hooligans who have a history of hooliganism. And we are just a multi-faith, multicultural community, very safe. We feel safe in being here, and we really like that, and we feel the decisions are really... Yes, we are...
Oh, God bless. See, this is what I meant earlier. I feel genuinely sorry for British Jews who have been placed in this situation by the government and by the media. Genuinely I do. But they've been forced into a situation where you have to choose. Are you on the side of decency, of humanity, of your fellow Brits who don't want this fucking garbage on our streets? Or do you stand with the people singing about raping and drinking people's blood? And how they're celebrating the death of Arab babies? That's the choice you have to make. I'm sorry, you can't have it both ways. You have to be one of those things or the other thing. And God bless all of these motherfuckers. I may have very serious disagreements with them on any number of matters, including theological, clearly. But they're very much welcome. And I embrace them as kin, as brethren. 100%. Thank you, Carl Brown, for gifting a membership. Much love to you on the YouTubes. What is this link? What link do we have here? Jewish community. Oh, that's the same. Yeah, that's the same one. Thank you, Wywood. Yes.
Look, can I just say to him that in relation to the specific incidents...
But of course, this shill, this piece of shit, this essentially foreign state actor, and that's what she is. She is working not on behalf of the British people, but on behalf of Israel. She's not going to listen to those Jewish people. Just like people won't, these Zionist fucks won't have Zach Polanski on. Because he's a Jew with the wrong opinion. He's a Jew who doesn't fit the narrative that the Zionists want to sell. So those are Jews who get ignored. Or indeed hated upon by Zionists who call them self-hating Jews and capos and blah blah blah. They're the wrong kind of Jew. It's almost like the Zionists don't give a fuck about Jewish people and are using them, ironically, as human shields behind which they can hide their political land grab wishes. Anyway, we're not even halfway through, Kev, for God's sake.
That he mentions, I am appalled by those, and none of us in this house should seek to condone that.
Jesus Christ! I have been going. I've looked at it. I've been going 2 hours and 20 minutes, and we've gotten through 23 minutes of this fucking debate. Jesus Christ! Oh. No.
Any sense, but can I say to you that it is
even by my own standards, this is bad.
entirely disingenuous to say that you respect cohesion and inclusion when you're seeking to divide and exclude.
Can I ask members... Order. Can I ask members to temper their language and not accuse each other of being disingenuous?
Note how she'll call him out there for saying disingenuous, but the several times that he and others get accused of being anti-Semitic, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You can unironically say you are in league with terrorists. You are a terrorist sympathiser. You hate Jewish people. You are an anti-Semite. That is perfectly fine. That's absolutely fucking dandy. Perfectly within inside the Erskine May rules, it would appear. But don't say disingenuous. Tut tut tut. Where's Rory Katz? He is under my back garden because he is dead. Apologies if you've not been around for a while, but he has been gone for a little time now. I miss him. But he didn't die, he just went back to his home planet. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Oh, chat. You're going to get me cancelled. Why would a story and with the link to the cats? Love it. Love it.
I call Amanda Martin.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Madam Deputy Speaker, we know ensuring that all fans can attend sporting events in safety and without fear must always be our first priority. And we must fully respect the operational independence of the police. Can the Secretary of State reassure the House that this government will provide the necessary...
Honestly, she is my favourite Victoria Wood character. Lovely.
...resources to support local policing in this case, particularly in light of the heightened and very deep concerns around anti-Semitism, to ensure that resourcing is not the reason given for the block banning of Maccabi Tel Aviv fans.
I'm really happy to give her that assurance.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. As a British Muslim who grew up in Birmingham in the West Midlands and did my business there, I was deeply saddened by this decision. I was saddened for the British Jewish community. We are a tolerant, diverse nation, a tolerant...
Again, I would ask you to talk to your fellow Conservative MP, Mr. Barty, Saqib Barty. of Meriden and Solihull East. Oh, okay. So just down the road. Never heard of the cunt, but yeah, there he is. Presumably he was elected at the last election and has done literally nothing since except apparently be a pick-me wanker. Have a word with your fellow Conservative MP Robert Jenrick about how fantastically diverse and tolerant you are, apparently.
Diverse region, and this decision was bad for two reasons. It was bad for Birmingham, it was bad for the West Midlands, and it was actually bad for the British Muslim community. Many of them have reached out saying they did not want to be dragged into this, and they feel.
Yeah, no one wanted to be dragged into this, and it wouldn't be an issue if your government and now the Labour government hadn't continued to support a genocide. If UEFA had kicked Israeli teams out, as they should have done, as they did with Russia 2 days after their invasion of Ukraine, this wouldn't be an issue. Indeed, Caroline Spellman was the old MP for that seat, that is true. Although it didn't have Solihull East attached to it. It was just Meriden back then.
Similar amounts of anger. My worry now is there's a flashpoint that's been created, which is the second problem with this decision, because now there will be those who will want to take advantage of the fact that this is now in the headlines. There will be those who will want to come and cause trouble and drag Birmingham's name and the West Midlands name through the mud.
No, look, can I really acknowledge that and say I too am saddened by the way in which this has played out, and I'm saddened about the impact on people in Birmingham who I've always found to be extremely welcoming, tolerant, and know that they're stronger for their diversity, not weakened by it. He's right to say that the recent events and the way in which a number of people have sought to prey on them has heightened.
Yeah, your government for one.
The level of risk. That's something that West Midlands Police, of course, have to consider. But my commitment to him and to all members of this House.
I keep forgetting his name. This Scottish guy. Look at him, face like a slapped arse.
House and to the people of Birmingham is that resources will not stand
Ian
in the way
Murray,
of this
there
going
we
ahead.
go. Yeah.
Leishman.
Thanks very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. Let me just say from the outset that all forms of bigotry is abhorrent. A Dutch police report into the disorder in Amsterdam at the Ajax versus Maccabi Tel Aviv fixture determined that Maccabi fans tore down a Palestinian flag, set fire to it, and chanted, and I quote, "Fuck you, Palestine." That is vile, disgusting Islamophobia in action. How about preventing that from happening here? Because there is an extreme hooligan element of Maccabi fans that consistently behave in this manner. Does the government not see that Islamophobic behaviour is highly likely if these fans travel to Birmingham? What about the safety of our Muslim citizens?
Thank you. I mean, look. But everybody in this House is entitled to strong opinions, but they're not entitled to a selective version of the facts. And it's absolutely right to point out that there, amongst the minority of Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, in the instance that he raised, there was appalling behaviour which none of us, including most Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, would not seek to...
What the fuck are you talking about? There were thousands of them acting like wankers, all chanting death to the Arabs. There are no schools in Gaza because there are no children. I didn't see anyone trying to stop that shit. They were all involved in it.
To condone, but there were also attacks on those fans as well, and that has formed part...
Right, because they started kicking off. They attacked people and damaged their property. As guests in the city. Yeah, people will fight back against that shit. There's a reason that the mayor of Amsterdam said that she would never have them back in the city. That she would never allow that football team back in the city. Or the fans, anyway. I don't think she can actually block the team from going there, but the fans from travelling there.
part of the assessment of risk that Westminster Police have had to make. And look, I think it is just worth me reiterating the point about just how rare it is for away fans to be excluded wholesale from attending European football matches in this country. As my honourable friend pointed out just a moment ago,
Get some help. It's not rare. It's not rare at all. We've been through this. You're full of shit. Thank you, Kieran, with 42 months. By the way, thank you everyone for the hype train earlier. He said, as we know, away fans tend to have the least ultra fans of the club attends, who are,
ladies and gentlemen,
the most
we got him.
Violent.
Victory is ours.
Sarcasm. Okay, right, there you go. Thank you, Kieran, for the... I was about to have a disagreement with you there, but you saved yourself at the end.
Deal with this in this country for a very long time. We've done it recently and in many parts of the country, and we have found a way to police safely and effectively. It cannot be beyond our collective wit to do so in this case.
Why was it beyond our collective wit when it was Legia Warsaw fans then? So hello there, Vampire Hunter D. Welcome to the Kevolution.
Wendy Morton.
Deputy Speaker, as things stand, the decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans reflects so badly on Birmingham, the West Midlands and our country.
Suck my dick!
At a time when actually football can so often bring people and communities together.
Again, anyone who says that is not a football fan.
So can the Secretary of State assure us that she will do all she can to make sure if there are reviews under...
We'll go back 10 seconds on that. Someone heckled her.
Actually, football can so often bring people and communities together. So can the Secretary of State...
Like yesterday. Referring to the Tel Aviv derby that was called off because both sets of football fans rioted.
Epic dub.
Assure us that she will do all she can to make sure if there are reviews underway, these are concluded before kick-off.
To be fair, they have been by Maccabi Tel Aviv. Saying we're not selling fucking tickets, you pricks.
And hear her frustration. I do understand it. We're working at pace, pulling every lever at our disposal to give the support to the police and to Birmingham City Council that they need. Of course, the police do need to be able to conduct that risk assessment, to do the review, to do it thoroughly, because the safety of fans and the community has to be paramount. But we're working as fast as we can, and we're determined to get there as quickly as we can, not least to provide clarity to both clubs so that they can make the necessary preparations.
I know this topic is very important, but I do need questions to be short and answers to be just as precise. Ian Byrne.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. First, can I pay tribute to those volunteers who serve on the SAG Safety Advisory Groups, a thankless but usually important task who we'll be very worried about today. The safety of football fans has at times been at the very bottom of priorities in this place.
True.
So can my right honourable friend reassure me that the safety of supporters is absolutely paramount in the thinking of the government rather than the politics around it?
Well, but you know that isn't true.
Yeah, I'm really happy to give him that assurance and want to thank him for the work that he's done over many years, on not just on Hillsborough but on football as a whole.
Claudine.
I welcome the remarks of the Secretary of State today and commend her on her tone. And her
the tone! Oh, it's okay if you're just being horrible and being the agent of a foreign power, as long as you do it with the nice words and not the bad vibes. Oh, fuck off. The Lib Dems are so fucking worthless.
A conciliatory attitude to this. Yes, safety is paramount for all football supporters, but it does not, as she said, take place in a vacuum, and we are now in a very tense situation in this country. She mentioned a strategy going ahead to make the Jewish communities feel more welcome. Can she outline a wee bit more of that and when we might, what we might expect and when we might see it?
In addition to the specific instance that we're talking about, I've been extremely concerned to hear examples from members of the Jewish community about Jewish film directors having their shows cancelled, not because it was to do with anything in Israel and Gaza, but because they were Jewish. I've heard stories from Jewish presenters who have been advised to stay off the airwaves, and I am working with them with the help of Lord Mann and the support of Lord Mann to make sure
Oh, Lord Mann, the sex pest. Okay.
that we pursue not just an overarching strategy, but also I've had discussions with individual organisations as well to make sure that where those incidents take place, that they know that they don't have to challenge those things alone.
Dr. Peter Prinsley.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I would also like to thank the Minister for her statement and for the tone in which she delivered it. The police always act in the interests of public safety, and I'm sure...
Oh, get fucked. They always act in the interests of public safety. It's like that documentary, the Panorama thing, didn't happen, where they just showed you all of the racism and sexism and violence of the police in London. No, they always act. They always act in public. Yeah, cool.
Coping so hard, coping and seething.
Well, there was no anti-Semitic intent intended. But it is the threat of the mob that has led to this decision. And will the
Yeah, I agree. Maccabi Tel Aviv are the mob. And they've made the decision. Get fucked.
Minister agree that we must never allow the rule of the mob?
Completely.
Sir Duncan Smith.
Madam Speaker, I commend the Honourable Lady's statement. It covered everything precisely, and I disagree with one or two of those who have come out against her on this. I simply say this, that when they did the partial assessment, of course, everybody centred on Amsterdam, but they had played a game in Istanbul, and there was no trouble at all in that game. And so it's a bit partial to choose one bit of evidence or the other. And I simply say that with the rise of anti-Semitism now in the UK, she is making the right decision to protect those people.
Now, there is a broader point here, that you don't just look at the times they didn't do riots. Obviously, that's ridiculous. You're the one who's choosing specific things here. Now, he mentions a game of football there that he claims took place in Amsterdam. No, not in Amsterdam, in Istanbul, a city in Turkey. Specifically, this game of football, which happened last year. Let me just adjust that for a second. Yeah, there we go. So, a game there between Besiktas, one of the three big clubs of Istanbul, along with Galatasaray and Fenerbahce, and Maccabi Tel Aviv. Maccabi Tel Aviv won 3-1. Boo. But it was the only 3 points they got in the tournament. They failed to make the knockout stages. Can we get some lols in chat? Either way, he claims this game took place in Istanbul. But if we take a cheeky little look down here at the game information, the game took place at the I'm going to try and pronounce it, the Najide Stadium in Debrecen, Hungary. Now, for anyone who maybe your geography isn't great, Hungary doesn't even fucking share a border with Turkey. It's a completely different country. And you're thinking to yourself, but there was still no trouble at the game though, right, Kev? There was no trouble at the game, so his point still stands, even if it was technically a different play. It was played at a neutral venue because the Turkish government had refused to allow them to play because of their history of violence, and it was played in front of an empty stadium. UEFA announced on Monday that the Europa League match between Turkish giants Besiktas and Israel's Maccabi Tel Aviv will be relocated from Istanbul to Debrecen, Hungary. Quote, the match will be played behind closed doors as per the decision of local Hungarian authorities. We really have the most knowledgeable people in Parliament, don't we? I wonder which one of his Hasbro handlers gave him that particular line, because there's no way he knew anything about it. Fucking hell. Unbelievable shit. Unbelievable. So, the Turkish authorities will take care of their people. The Hungarian authorities will take care of their people. The Dutch authorities will take care of their people. But our government couldn't give two fucks about the safety of our people. Let that sink in. Just let that stew in your mind. Honestly, we're run by the dumbest cunts in the world.
I'm grateful to him for that, and I think he raises the really important question about whether this is proportionate and whether, if there hadn't been a risk to the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans because of where they come from and who they are, whether this decision would have played out.
So are you suggesting that all those other people making those decisions in those other countries were also anti-Semitic? Everyone's anti-Semitic. It's not that this is a group of people with a known history of violence and racism and causing trouble everywhere they go, because of course they've caused trouble yesterday in Israel, got that match banned. They got this incident in Greece. They were so notorious the Turkish government didn't want them there. The Hungarian government said only if it's a fucking empty stadium and there are no fans at all. The Dutch, the mayor of Amsterdam said she would never allow those fans back into the city. It's all just anti-Semitism, is it? This is the annoying thing. She claims she's doing this to combat anti-Semitism, and yet she is the person undermining the seriousness of anti-Semitism by falsely smearing anyone who doesn't like hooliganism as an anti-Semite. What a wanker.
In the way that it has. That is what is exercising a lot of members of this House, and it's obviously a view that we share.
Richard Bergen.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Isn't it the case that the police acting on intelligence believe Maccabi team fans shouldn't be allowed to attend the match for public safety reasons, and their record of hooliganism will have contributed to that? Bans like this have happened with other teams' fans across Europe. In this case, there's been a dangerous push to again claim that any criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic. Shouldn't the government just admit that on this it's got it badly wrong and let the police do their job without political interference? Because surely the real issue here is the right of local people to be kept safe.
A rare Labour MP speaks sense. What can I say, chap? What can I say? Fucking incredible. The stopped clock is right once a day or twice a day or whatever, yeah.
Well, look, can I just say to the honourable gentleman that the difference in this case is and what has tipped the balance and weight
is the amount of money Israel has given you. Yeah, we know.
Of the decision is the risk presented to Maccabi Tel Aviv fans because they are Israeli and in many cases because they are British and they're Jewish.
Danny Kruger.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. What has happened is that a political campaign, I'm ashamed to say led by members of this House, has caused the police to change their decision, to change their calculation.
You are coping and seething.
So the Culture Secretary is right to suggest that this is not simply an operational decision. She's talking a good game, but she also says that all she can do is to question the conclusion of the police. And now she's offering more resources, asking them...
So here is the Reform Party, the supposedly strong borders, let's stop violent, pro-rape threats to our women and girls, saying, no, we should allow these violent, pro-rape people who are a threat to our women and girls. Just saying.
Politely, if they change their decision. Does the government not recognise that under the 1996 Police Act, the government does have the power to direct police forces to make certain decisions, and if necessary to dismiss the chief constable? And if she doesn't think that, will she clarify the law? Will the government clarify the law to ensure that the government can have the power to overturn decisions like this?
No, technically, Leishman is an independent because he lost the whip. So Burgeon, I think... Well, there have been a couple of other. The woman who mentioned Hillsborough was okay, and I think that was it, basically. And then there was your man, Burgeon, spoke well there. And then Leishman, who's... I mean, given his forceful interjection on this particular matter, is unlikely to get the whip back anytime soon, I fear.
There is a long-established principle in this country, as set out in law, that the police are operationally independent, and I'm surprised to hear the honourable gentleman seek to question that.
You're the one literally trying to overturn it. What are you talking about?
Really clear that the risk assessment and the decisions around safety and what would be needed for this
Hello,
to
Vanessa.
go ahead safely with all fans
Welcome to the
present is for
Kevolution.
the police. But what is a right and proper role for the government is to work with them, to support them, to ensure that that happens. That's not just a question of resourcing. We're looking at a whole range of factors and practices that are well established in this country.
I'm sorry, that is Greta Thunberg. It just is. Every time I look at her, I just see Greta Thunberg, and it's fucking driving me mental. I don't even know who it is. I've never seen this fucking person before. So the UK has to allow entry of racist Israelis to prove it's not racist against Jews. Basically, that was the point that these dickheads are making. But thankfully, NYC guy, and thank you for the bits. Thankfully, the Israeli football club themselves have said they will not sell these tickets now. So the government have put themselves out there and have been made to look a bunch of absolute knobheads. A right bunch of silly sausages. A bunch of Burks. Outflanked to the left by a racist Israeli football club. Forensic stuff from the Prime Minister, as always. Very good question, Vicky. Very good question.
And across Europe, including making sure that you have transportation that gets fans safely to and from the game. We're looking at the numbers of ticket sales that are made available to away fans. We're looking at...
That's aged nicely, hasn't it? That number would be 0. The number you're looking for is 0.
The measures, many measures that have tried and tested in order to ensure that elements who would seek to create trouble are excluded from the game. It is absolutely not right to characterise the position of this government as simply standing on the sidelines when it comes to this fundamental principle.
No, you are interfering,
who is
yes, we know.
to walk the streets and attend football games in our country because of who they are. It is, for us, non-negotiable.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm sure.
Well, except if they're Polish, obviously, because you didn't say anything when Legia Warsaw fans had the same issue 18 months ago. That was fine, apparently. Poles are not welcome, according to the British government.
The Secretary of State will find the irony in the fact that last weekend and next weekend, Premier League footballers were taking the knee, demonstrating on driving out racism from football. Now, this is anti-Semitism at its heart.
No, it isn't. Nope. You're incorrect.
So the clear issue is, if the issue is the safety of the fans outside the ground, in many cases on away matches, the away supporters will be escorted by the police on coaches to the entrance and then collected from the exit to go back to the airport. There's no reason why that can't be done now. So will she then take back to the police the case of saying, let's make people safe? Because the alternative to that view is that, for example, I support Tottenham Hotspur. We have a massive Jewish population. If that means that we are not safe to go to Aston Villa because of attitudes that will approach outside the ground.
No, but you literally are. Jewish fans can go to that stadium. Maccabi Haifa fans, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, what am I talking about? Cannot. You're fine, mate. You don't need to pretend to be a victim here.
And that is a demonstration that in the UK, Jewish people are not safe on our streets.
Fundamentally agree with him.
Yeah, because you're both cunts. You're both literally the agents of a foreign nation.
Sammy Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And first of all, can I congratulate the Secretary of State on the very clear message which she has given out today. And is it not a fact that, despite some of the excuses coming from behind me, that this is all about the religion of the supporters who will be attending this match, and indeed the only people who they're likely to be in danger from are the hate mobs that we have seen marching across our streets for months.
Fascinating that a man from the DUP would go on about hate marches. Did someone say Orange Order?
Previously, waving Palestinian flags and supporting terrorists.
Supporting terror? You are the DUP. You are the fucking OGs of supporting terrorists.
And would she agree with me that the police ought to be told, you make the streets safe for everyone, Jewish people as well as anyone else, and that is their duty, and they should live up to that?
Look, I would say it's all of our duty to make sure that we live up to that as a country, and in the vast majority of cases that we do. And I would just also make the point that...
She scared the cat. Oh, bless.
To those who say that this is a perfectly legitimate thing to try and drive the fans out of the game, I would just make the point that our assessment is that the vast majority of Maccabi Tel Aviv fans who want to attend are British.
Don't care. I couldn't give a fuck.
The only distinguishing feature is that they're Jewish.
No, that they're Maccabi Tel Aviv fans. Jewish Aston Villa fans can attend. You're a liar.
Alex Sharbrook.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Madam Deputy Speaker, my Jewish community come to me for years now saying how unsafe they feel, and that anti-Semitism has risen its head in this country now for many years. The Secretary of State's tone today is absolutely welcome, and she is absolutely...
What a joke. When you're being fucking thanked for your tone by Tory backbenchers. You're scum.
Absolutely right. But Madam Deputy, let me put it bluntly. Jewish hatred in this country has grown and grown and grown. So may I ask the Secretary of State to pull every lever she can to make sure that the idea of Jewish hatred is not shown to be borne out by saying, because you are Jewish, because you're Israeli, we hold you all responsible for the actions of a government. And
wow, you should really have a word with Michael Gove, who literally said that that was exactly what he believes. He literally said that on Twitter the other day. You should have a word with him. Apparently you think he's an anti-Semite.
The reality is, Madam Deputy Speaker, that is xenophobia, that is racism, and that is anti-Semitism, and needs to be called out.
And I'm happy to share him in calling that out.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh, Hitler gets to speak. No!
At this very moment, Britannia burns.
Would the Secretary of State confirm that in coming to this decision, the authorities in Birmingham took account of the behaviour...
Adolf Hitler, Adolf Hitler, Adolf Hitler.
Behaviour of Maccabi Haifa fans in many other occasions and many other places, decided it was unsafe for the match to be played in Birmingham. It is absolutely not about banning Jewish or any other people from going to the match or going to Birmingham? Can we separate the two issues about the behaviour of a group of fans from the wider question where everybody, Jewish, Muslim or anything else, must be safe to walk the streets of this country?
On his last statement, that everybody must be safe to walk...
Yes, I do love the fact that the clowns have been shown up for what they are, yeah. 100%.
The streets of this country, I agree with him, and I would just say perhaps if he wanted to turn to his left and right, he might make that point to the people that he
Oh dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt!
now associates with, because that is not what we've heard from them over the last few weeks. And look, can I just clear this up, because I've heard a lot of hot takes on social media about the evidence on which the police rely to come to this decision. It is absolutely right to say that the police, as you would expect, took into account in particular the game in Amsterdam, which Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Interesting that she cares so much about racism and then just does racism. If you want to look at the two P words either side of you and have a word with them, you know. And that's basically what she said.
The fans were present and where a small element caused the most appalling disorder, but they also took into account the very real risks presented to Maccabi Tel Aviv fans on the basis that Maccabi Tel Aviv is an Israeli team and on the basis that many of the fans attending are Jewish. And I would just hope that he would be as exercised about that as he is about the behaviour of those fans.
Hey, hello Belfast memories and more. I see you're new here. Welcome in. You should hit the subscribe button. I regularly take the piss out of the DUP because they're garbage people. 80% of Israeli citizens were polled saying they supported complete ethnic cleansing of Gaza, so maybe there isn't so much of a difference between people and their government. Thank you for the bits, NYC guy. What I would say is that a lot of those people, unfortunately, have been inculcated in the Israeli education system. And this is what happens in ethno-state hellscapes. The same happened in Nazi Germany, the same happens in all of these places. When you have an ethnic supremacist government, it teaches its citizens ethnic supremacism. That's not to say that they get forgiven for the awful things they believe, but to an extent they are victims of brainwashing by some genuinely evil characters.
Sir Julian Lewis.
Hopefully we can rely on the police to arrest any hooligans who break the law, whichever team they're supporting. But
right, but that doesn't mean you just you allow them to come in and then if they do hooliganism, then you just arrest them. What about we stop the hooliganism from happening in the first place? What kind of accent does this guy have? Kind of posh, I guess. He's a posh lad. Slightly effete, but just posh.
Will the government take into account the fact that as they're knowing the way in which terrorists...
He's literally a sir. Fucking crikey. A knight of the realm.
minds work, as there will be so much concentration on this particular location with so many police resources, Jewish establishments in that particular part of the country need to be extra careful on that day that advantage isn't sought to be taken by people who mean them harm.
Yes,
he does
he'll
look
be
like
aware because
he does look like old Bilbo Baggins, yeah. Oh shit! Now I'm never going to be able to look at him and not see that. Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's all played out publicly that there have been specific threats towards Jewish people and Jewish organisations, and that's obviously something that the police and we are taking extremely seriously. I have to say that because of the way that those on all sides of this debate have sought to heighten tensions over the past week, because of that, there are concerns about the safety of a whole range of people across the community, Muslims, Jews, and the wider community as well. And a number of members have made the point that there is far more work that needs to be done to diffuse these tensions, to take the heat out of this situation, to support everybody.
You caused this fucking situation to be hot. You made this into a fucking bad thing.
In this country, and particularly to be absolutely emphatic, as the honourable gentleman made the point about just a moment ago, that the events, that nobody in Britain is responsible for the events that are playing out in the Middle East, and to hold them responsible,
Belfast.
whether it's British Muslims or British Jews, is entirely unacceptable.
Lee Anderson.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Last year, the Chief Constable of the West Midlands Police Force said he told Muslim elders
I seem
that
to have
he would only
spotted a
police
cunt.
without fear or favour, and he would not tolerate any sort of racism. But the banning of Maccabi fans is quite clearly racism.
See, they love... This is the thing. Just as the people who go on about cancel culture aren't actually against cancel culture, they want to be the ones doing the cancelling. The racists who always whinge about being called racist love calling other people racist as soon as they get the slightest opportunity, the slightest little tiny opportunity to call someone else a bigot. Oh, they're all over it. They become the biggest fucking SJWs in the world. What the fuck is that tie? Yeah, he's got a kind of white tie on. It doesn't sit very well. Looks like he's wearing a cummerbund or something.
So does the Secretary of State agree with me that if the police chiefs cannot police a football match, they should no longer be in office?
I don't think it's helpful to question.
A genuinely useless answer, interjection as always from Lee Anderson. I don't think I've ever heard him say anything of worth or value. A genuinely worthless human being.
People's motives. In the work that we've done with the West Midlands Police, I have no hesitation in saying that they have done an assessment of the risks, as is their responsibility. What happens next is not just a question for the West Midlands Police, it's a question for all of us. And the reason that the government has intervened in this case is because the police doing their job to assess the safety and the risks that are posed across the board, the decision that they've come to has wider implications that we believe have led to the wrong decision and cannot stand. But I don't question the motives of the police in this for a moment. I think our job is to work with them and support them to be able to police this match in a way that ensures that people can attend and they can attend safely.
Speaker, the message this decision sends is that the police will bow to religious pressure and legitimises anti-Semitism. The Secretary of State makes reference
Oh dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt.
To the game between Ajax and Maccabi Tel Aviv. The vast majority of fans on that evening arrested were Ajax fans. They actually play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on Wednesday evening, and no one's talked about banning them from attending that game. Article 27.
Why have you got a butthole on your head?
0.04 of the Europa.
I don't know if you can see, he's got a big dent in his head. It looks like a butthole. I can't take Mr. Butthole Head very seriously.
League regulation states a rescheduled match can be completed if necessary without spectators. The home club must have access to a backup stadium. Given it is now likely that this fixture will attract bad faith actors to Birmingham who aren't fans of either team looking to cause trouble, what assessment has she made of playing the match behind closed doors at a neutral venue or a venue where the police are prepared to provide security?
I've said that. I think the only way you can host this game now safely is if you hold it at a neutral venue now. They'd have to hire a different stadium somewhere. Maybe in the UK, but probably maybe abroad, whatever. It's somewhere else. Because it's obviously going to attract the worst fucking people in the world. Which then attracts people to counter-demonstrate, and it becomes, you know... Yeah, his name really is Ben Obese Jector, yes. That is a fact about that human being. I'm being very insensitive to dolphins. His name is Cornholio. You can't hang on. In honour of the great Cornholio, I'm going to do the rest of the show like this. I'm Cornholio. I need TP for my bunghole.
We as a government are not prepared to accept that people cannot attend a football match in Birmingham because of who they are. And there are many, many Aston Villa fans who are looking forward to this fixture. There is no risk posed by them. It's in their home city. They should be able to attend. It is also our very strong view, as he sets out, that the majority of Maccabi Tel Aviv fans should be allowed to attend.
Yeah, and the club feels differently. Get wrecked.
As they have done to many other matches, safely and not discriminated against because of who they are. So we're working with the police and other local partners to make sure that we do everything that we can to achieve that end and deal with the wider issues that many members here have raised.
Zara Sultana.
Oh, fuck yes, the Queen's going to speak.
Nothing bad can happen, it can only good happen.
Maccabi Tel Aviv's racist fan hooliganism cannot be separated from Israeli militarism. Many of these fans are active or former soldiers who have taken part in Israel's
The people of Parliament are such scum.
genocide in Gaza. They should be investigated for war crimes the moment they set foot onto British soil, not welcomed into our stadiums. And let's be clear, this Labour government is no innocent bystander. It has armed Israel's genocide, it has provided diplomatic cover, and it has shamefully denied that genocide is even taking place. So I ask the Minister, is there anything this Labour government won't do to defend the genocidal apartheid state of Israel?
Go on, lass. Fuck yes. Oh. The great Cornholio approves this message.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I like the Honourable Lady, but I have to say that she is doing the people of Birmingham no favours with that sort of rhetoric.
Suck my dick.
You know, when it comes to the conflation that she makes between all of the Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters and the actions of the Israeli government, that is...
You're literally suggesting that the treatment of all of Maccabi fans is inherent towards all Jewish people. You're literally doing the thing that you're accusing them of. Play it again with the song. What song? Oh, this one. Is that the one you're referring to? That's the only song I've got, I think, isn't it? I don't know, something like that.
It's precisely what the Honourable Gentleman was talking about.
No, they're ruining our nice tone with a different opinion. You're not allowed to have a different opinion. You can only believe the thing that we believe.
About blaming, in many cases, British citizens who happen to support Maccabi Tel Aviv.
I don't give a fuck if they're British. I don't care. The fucking fans behave like absolute animals. Look at them. You can literally... This is them in Greece. You want this on the streets of Birmingham? Fuck off. You absolute fucking knob.
For actions that are taking place in the Middle East. Conflating being Jewish and Israeli, I have to say, I'm afraid, is in itself anti-Semitism.
Well, you might want to have a word with literally every Zionist who seems to think that this is the case. They seem to think the actions of Israel do represent all Jews. Maybe have a word with them.
I think she should take more care with her remarks.
John Cooper.
Birmingham's best band is, of course, Black Sabbath, and the counsel is that if you listen to fools, the mob rules. This is a case.
Where are we going? Garbage Island.
Of mob rule here. The Secretary of State's done a tremendous job of setting out the government's position. Will she review whilst still maintaining police independence?
Order. If Mr. Kruber and Ms. Zara Sultana want to continue their own personal debate, they need to take it out of the chamber. Mr. Cooper.
Now you speak to her. Back to the SABs. Will she review the rules around sporting events and entertainment events to make sure that this government, and indeed any future government, is not rendered impotent in the face of the mob?
Hear, hear.
Suck my dick.
Well, look, we're not considering making changes to the principle that has stood for a long time about the operational independence of the police. But as I've set out to other members of the House, we are very clear that there is a role for government here, and we're determined to play our part in helping to resolve this. I have to say, listening to the racket that's going on in that corner, you know...
No, the tone. My lovely tone is being ruined.
I've just talked about the impact that a lot of this is having on young people in this country who are turning up, putting their strip on a Sunday morning, going to play football and finding that they're not welcome. That sort of behaviour is exactly the opposite of what this House should be modelling.
No, what we should be doing is just shilling for a foreign country instead. Brilliant.
Jim Shannon.
Oh, this fucking cunt as well. Jesus Christ. Is there anyone in Parliament who isn't just a fucking fanny? Really? God almighty.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Can I first of all welcome and thank the Secretary of State very much for her statement. I was saddened to hear of this decision, and more importantly, the message it sends to our Jewish community. This is, I believe, a dire situation. We must make use of the UK policing services to make a way for this sports event and for fans to attend in safety.
Is this the main team for Tel Aviv? Well, there are two. There's Hapoel Tel Aviv and Maccabi Tel Aviv. And they play, well, they were due to play each other yesterday. And both fans rioted, so it was called off. They literally couldn't keep it in their pants long enough for the British authorities to pull a fast one and get away with it. So rapaciously violent, are they? Oh, puppies. Puppies and cats. Fuck yes. Big old puppy paws to the face. Those are way, way chiller cats than Rory would have been. Fucking hell. Rory would have eaten these motherfuckers by now. Yes, that game was called off before this debate, many hours before this debate.
Jews are welcomed and protected everywhere, as are people of all faiths and none. To have a scenario to give into intimidation and threat is a slippery slope to appeasement of countries within our country. What steps will be taken, Madam Deputy Speaker, to ensure deployment of any police service for Northern Ireland, for instance, have been used just in the last month to do some of the policing?
Oh yeah, that's what we need. What the people of Birmingham need is the fucking police service of Northern Ireland to turn up. That will definitely take the tensions down. Shut the fuck up, you minge.
Police must be used to allow international supporters to attend and to send the correct message that we're one nation and freedom is not zoned or excluded in any area of this United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Worthless.
We're looking, as I made clear, at a whole range of options to provide the support and resources that West Midlands Police need. We're very clear that this can't just be a responsibility of them alone. There are wider principles at stake, and we're providing everything that they need in order that we can live up to the principles that he just set out.
Adnan Hussain.
Thank you, Madam Deputy
Wait, it's the transphobic landlord. Whoop, whoop.
Speaker. The government, politicians from across the House and the media establishment
Even if he makes a good point, I'm not clapping this cunt.
have condemned the proposed ban on Maccabi Tel Aviv fans as anti-Semitic. Yet this group has a record of violent behaviour, racist chants including death to Arabs and the mocking of the killing of Gazan children. Given the UK's adoption of the IHRA definition, which rightly warns against holding Jewish people collectively responsible for Israel's actions, does the Minister agree that criticism of Israel with its ongoing genocide, war crimes, breaches of international law and current genocide trial at the ICJ, with anti-Semitism against British Jews or Jewish people in general, actually undermines that definition? I won't sit down. And if the
Imagine that. Imagine that. Screaming at someone else in Parliament, sit down. Karen Hall, are you named after the fucking place that Hermann Goering lived? Because that's the name of the house he built. Well, had built. He didn't build it himself, obviously. That's a weird... Unless your name's just Karen Hall, which would be unfortunate for you. But apparently shouting sit down to an MP is perfectly in order. Accusing someone of being disingenuous when they're being disingenuous, though, is not allowed.
Where are we going? Garbage Island.
UK rightly...
Is that the question? Is that the question? Quickly put the question.
And if the UK rightly imposes cultural and sporting boycotts on countries like Russia...
No, it's named after Karen and Harrenhal from a Game of Thrones. Oh, okay, well, technically Karen Hall was also the name of Hermann Goering's house. It's a Nazi house. He also blew it up. So just, you know, it's not there anymore or anything, but just something to bear in mind.
Over war crimes, why should Israel be treated differently?
True.
Look, I made absolutely clear that it is perfectly acceptable for people to hold strong and passionate views about what is happening in Israel and Gaza.
Really? Because your government seems to be arresting people who oppose the genocide. A lot.
There is a right in this country to make representations to sporting governing bodies and the government about who can participate in internet. I mean, he's not listening, so I think I'll just leave it there.
Look at Adam.
Jesus fucking Christ. They're not even pretending to do it. Oh, yes, we've got the Right Honourable Jenny. The right... Salutes in chat, everyone. The Right Honourable Jenny in attendance. The Popper, the Member of Parliament. The only honourable member of that chamber. God bless her. Oh. My alma mater's motto was the Eagles. They called the school after the Eagle's Nest. What the fuck, Marcus? What the fuck is that? Oh, that's mental. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Anti-Semitism is vile, and no one should be prevented from enjoying their sporting game, whatever it may be, simply because of their faith. And as a football fan, I take the decision to ban any fans very, very seriously. But the Prime Minister's decision to interfere with the independence of West Midlands Police and SAG should concern all of us in this House, especially when the same Prime Minister failed to intervene when British aid workers were killed, when they were volunteering for the World Central Kitchen,
True.
when he failed to intervene when his own MPs were denied access to Israel and the West Bank, and when he failed to intervene when the IDF boarded flotillas with British citizens and detaining them. Millions now will be spent on a football match defending some hooligans, not all, who chant there are no schools in Gaza because there are no children in Gaza. So does the Minister agree with me the Prime Minister should respect the independence of the police and the Safety Advisory Group?
Which party is he a member of? He's an independent MP. I think he's going to be a part of your party or whatever, if that ever fucking happens. Yeah, he's in that grouping. That's them at the top right hand side. You can see there. There's Jumbly Cromlins and Shokhat Adam and Adnan Hussein and all of those chappy chaps, and the one woman who's been sidelined. Zara Sultana. That Irish MP was speaking and it reminded me of what? What did it remind you of, 255? No. Did you know it's thought the Southern English accent in the 1600s sounded like modern Irish? It's thought the reason that his English was imposed on the Irish around that time, and the evolution of the language has been more conservative there in actual England over the 400. There might be some truth to that. I don't know. True, as friends Rust, fucking true.
I really do wonder whether, had West Midlands Police made a different decision, whether he would have come to this House to question the decision that had been made. And I suspect, I'm afraid, that the answer is yes. And look, this is part of the...
So it's just football then? Literally, you're doing the footballification of politics then? That's all you care about? What a trash bag.
The problem with this debate is that, you know, the chants that he talks about, I think appall absolutely everybody in this House. He characterises...
Not enough for you to care. Not enough for you to give a shit about it.
The government in a particular way. He fails to make reference to the very many robust actions that we've taken around the Israeli government's actions.
Oh, you're having a fucking laugh.
You are coping and seething.
I'm playing it again.
You are coping and seething.
Unbelievable. You have actively participated in this genocide. Robust actions. You can fuck off.
In Gaza, we have condemned them, we've sanctioned members of the Israeli government, we've restricted arms sales to Israel, and we have been...
No, you haven't. You've literally... Britain has never sold more arms to Israel than it currently does. You evil bastards.
Out there on the ground, playing the part in peace negotiations and pushing for aid to get in at pace, and still are. But he doesn't reference that because, frankly...
Neither 255.
Sadly, I think he is trying to gain political support for his position. What I would say to him is, honestly, and there's only a few of them that have bothered to listen to any of this debate, but what I would...
Because you're a robot. There's no point listening to you because you're just a robot. Repeating Hasbro lies. So there's no point listening to you, really. I'm a fool unto myself for having done so.
Say to them is, if you really do want to resolve this, then work with us in order to make sure that all communities can express their passionate, deeply held views in appropriate and peaceful ways, but that this country can remain an open, tolerant, diverse place where everybody is...
At this very moment, Britannia burns.
free to walk the streets and attend football games, regardless of who they are.
Final question, Iqbal Mohammed.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. After the conflation of anti-Semitism with the banning of football hooligans who happen to...
Beard! Look at that. Honestly, I mean, just for the beard alone. Absolutely superb work on your face, my good man.
From Israel and the abuse that I've received and other people who've received for supporting the ban on safety grounds. I must put on record that I and those people are not anti-Semitic, never have been and never will be. The Prime Minister, if I may, the Prime Minister called the decision to ban the violent Maccabee hooligans by West Midlands Police and Birmingham City Council Safety Advisory Group as anti-Semitism. The leader of Reform said the police gave in to extremist intimidation. The leader...
Yeah, but I think, given that the leader of Reform likes racist intimidation, was that a criticism or was that like game respecting game? It's impossible to know.
Of the Liberal Democrats called for the decision to be reversed, saying you don't tackle anti-Semitism by banning its victims. And racist comments from the would-be leader of the Tories said he was wrong that the integration has failed in Birmingham.
That's fair segue, and I won't be changing
Speaker,
it.
Let me ask this. Is it anti-Semitic for the Israeli police to cancel a football derby in Tel Aviv last night after these same hooligans forced the match to stop through violence and injury to fans?
What a silly question, says fucking Lee Anderson. A man who I wouldn't trust to tie his own shoelaces.
The police. Do we want these scenes to be repeated in our stadiums and on our streets?
The decision that was made last night, as I understand it, was on the basis of rioting that was occurring at a live event. It was not a decision that is unprecedented in the UK from the safety advisory.
What do you mean unprecedented? You've used that lie a million times now.
Group in recent times to sorry, does he want to know? Yeah, yes. Okay. Well, in that case.
God, you fucking thin-skinned wanker. Oh God, I hate this bit.
Can we just have a little bit more decorum, because there are people...
Can we have some decorum while I defend the genocidal state, please?
...side of this place whose lives are being directly affected by the debate that we're having and the tone of the debate that we're having. He tries to equate the two, but the truth is that he reveals himself in the language that he uses. He refers to the banning of football hooligans. He referred specifically to the decision to ban violent football hooligans. But this isn't a decision to ban football hooligans. This is a decision to ban all away fans from...
Yeah, that's what happens. When a club... Jesus Christ. Like, again, this is how you know someone isn't a football fan. Yes, we know not everyone in Maccabee Tel Aviv is a football fan. Is a violent lunatic or whatever, right? I'm sure there are some people who aren't that. But when a football club has so many fans that are violent, sometimes they get banned from certain games, or they have to play games in empty stadiums and stuff. This has a huge precedent. A massive precedent. The idea that this is like some aberration rather than the norm, you're just lying. You're a fucking liar.
A game which a safety advisory group has not done for nearly 25 years in this country. And it was a decision taken not on the grounds that he suggests, which was the risk posed by Maccabee Tel Aviv.
Yes, it was. Yes, it actually was. Again, you're just lying.
Fans. It was a decision taken in no small part because of the risk posed to them because they support an Israeli team.
No, because they turn up and start trouble and people fight back. Yeah. That's why, like, when they were going about Amsterdam. Oh, it was a pogrom. No, it wasn't. You turned up and caused trouble, and people kick fuck out of you. That's going to happen. Chat shit, get hit.
And because they are Jewish. And I would just gently say to him that if he is conflating everybody who supports an Israeli team, the vast majority of whom, by definition, will be Jewish, with being violent football hooligans, then he should consider whether he can really stand in front of this House and say that he is not behaving in a way that is anti-Semitic. Yeah.
So that's fine. You can just accuse someone wrongly of being an anti-Semite. That's just fine. Enjoy... Miss Nandy, enjoy losing your seat. You will have deserved it, you piece of fucking trash. Ah, Zionists. Is there anything they won't lie about? I don't know. Anyway, chat. Oh, fuck. Well, my decision about getting a fucking haircut just got a lot easier. Fuck off. Right. The locks need to go. I can't be having them getting fucking tangled up with bullshit. Anyway. This was worse than some slop debate. Well, it was worse. Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, we can have a box of kittens. Who doesn't like a box of kittens? Come on now. Now we're talking. Oh, shit. That is... As Friends Rust, your badge is literally the Man City badge. I never knew that. I accidentally put them on. Oh. Pew. Look at those little kittens. God, they're awesome. Please tell me you got the Greek video I sent you. Did you? Where did you send it to me? That mewing set my cat right off. Wrecked. Get wrecked, Segways cat. You got fucking owned. Rory Cat's only ever reacted like once or twice to cat noises from the internet. He seemed to work out, for some reason, that maybe it's a frequency thing. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to leave now. I'm going to go to bed. Actually, I'm going to get some food first and then go to bed. Why am I telling you like it matters? Well, anyway. Right Honourable Katie Lamb. What? If you've got suggestions for me, go to the stream suggestions in the Discord and check that out. No, Justice is going. She said she was going to do an early stream. I don't understand her. She's fucking mental, but at least that makes the decision who to raid into easy. Go and check out No Justice. And I suppose the same on the Twitches. Hey, hello, Wales. If you've just popped in, we're literally leaving. So if you just got here, you can scroll back through the VOD. It's some good stuff. The story changed very rapidly because of real-world events, as you do. Go and check out No Justice MTG on the various platforms, and then I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I'll be on with Chris. I forgot to even say we were supposed to do a happy hour today, but Christy was tired, so we're going to do it tomorrow. And it is just still tomorrow because it's 6 minutes to midnight. So, yeah, all that shit. Free Palestine. No pass around.
Which is the important thing, right? That's the thing I really care about, is how much you actually have to pay in interest and how much that